like to start it at 6 o'clock. Tonight is Monday, December 15th, 2025 at 6 o'clock p.m. I want to welcome you to our regular scheduled meeting of our Freeport City Council. At this time, I will declare that a quorum is present and will call the meeting to order. Leading off, I would like to ask Councilman Rosso if you would lead us in the pledge and the prayer.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for another day that we've never seen. You're so good, God, and you just continue to meet our needs. We pray, Lord, that you have your way tonight in this council meeting. Bless all the councilmen, city manager, our lawyer, our mayor. Everyone under the sound of my voice, we ask a blessing. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, and you may be seated. At this time, we have citizens' comments, and Toby had a bright idea to put us a clock up here. Okay, it was Ashley's idea. All right, so not only can we tell what the time is, but we're going to try timing the 4 minutes when speaking on there instead of trying to look at the iPad. So we're going to wing it. We might run into some issues tonight with it, but we're going to work through it, or we're going to put the clock in Ashley's office. So first on our list is Mr. Manning Rollerson.
Good afternoon, council. Y'all guys know my serious issue that I'm always very concerned about, and that's housing in Freeport. There's been promises made ever since I was a baby in the city about development, and we just don't have the development in this city or the safe and adequate homes in this city. Most of the majority of the homes was built in the 1930s and 1940s. So there's a lot of the homes that's not even certified towards the government for safe living standards in the first place, based on all the disasters that happened in this community with freezes, tornadoes, and floods over the past 10 years. So we need homes in Freeport. We need a tax base. Freeport needs a tax base where it won't rely so much on the corporate industry to take up the finances of the city to make our budget. It is time for Freeport to bring a tax base that it will be able to meet its budgets. We at Freeport Haven for Environmental Justice, that's our main pet peeve, is to get homes in Freeport, because there were many decades of promises and we just haven't got it. We definitely want to partner with the city to make sure that there's a redevelopment plan going on downtown, period, because this needs to happen in order to have a thriving, function city, to even be called the city in Freeport, because we have a downtown that has not been economically viable for over 50 years, and that's uncalled for. All the cities around here has a building and community development plan. Jones Creek, Oyster Creek, Lake Jackson, Clute, they all have presented their new development for communities where we at in Freeport, Texas. We have a lot of money we spent on these economical development plans, but none of them have come into fruition ever since I've been an adult here raising my children. A lot of promises, but nothing ever come through. I just hope the city hold to its promise. And also, I feel like the city should really reflect on the 100 years that was celebrated, because the city harmed its own residents in that 100 years that they're celebrating. And I'm one of the residents that just really don't feel like my city really cares what happens to me as a race, and me as a citizen of this city, because the city have shown my people that we are insignificant by allowing that to happen to the residents of Freeport when the city itself was implemented in every case of being a part of harming their own residents. And I am the person with the federal investigation and the case that fought this East End, just like Ms. Jones now. But I wish the city would be transparent and fair to its people and don't lie to them. Never stab us in the back, because at this point, what have y'all done for us in all these years? And I pray that this new city manager that she comes out to think about the concerns of Freeport and growing Freeport. And I'm willing to work with you 100%. But at the end of the day, a bunch of promises and nothing happening, then you will have the issues of the complaints of the people, because we haven't had the truth out of no administration in this city as long as I raise my kids here. My daughter will be 42 years old, January 3rd, 2026. So it speaks a lot about how this city has been governed for the last 42 years and showed no economical growth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I told y'all there were going to be some issues. We got a learning curve going on here. Thank you, Mr. Ollerson. Next, we have Mr. Rob Giesecke.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. And on behalf of Port Freeport, welcome Dr. Kelly to Freeport. Again, I'm Rob Giesecke, with Chairman of the Port Freeport Commission. Don't let this fool you, I'm not here to give a campaign speech. I'm here as a result of a citizen complaint I got last week. They saw a truck driving down East Park Avenue right through downtown, an 18-wheeler, and they were able to take a picture of it and send it to me, and I was able to go to our operations folks and determine it is a truck that trucking line does serve one of our tenants. And so we are running that down just to let them know where they need to go, that is not an appropriate place to be with their 18-wheeler and to stay on the truck routes. And I came before y'all a few meetings back, and we had met, Phyllis, Satoff and myself, our CEO, had met with Sergeant Broadway to get the truck routes from the city with the intention of putting them on our website. It's a little slower process. We had a little bit of a miscommunication with our web designer, but that is in final edits, and we'll have that. It's a truck driver optimized website when you pull it up on a mobile device, so it pops up right away where our gates are and information for truck drivers, and we'll have those truck routes clearly identified on that map. So hopefully we can head that problem off more in the future and keep the trucks where they need to be. So thank y'all for your time, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. That beep is kind of annoying. However, this is the issue we have at this point. We either have the beep and the buzzer that goes off at the 4 minutes, or we don't have the beep and we don't have the buzzer that goes off in 4 minutes. So if we turn the beep off, then it's going to require someone out there to say, hey, we're at the 4 minute. So we'll work on it. Next we have Miss Margaret Bachman. Would like to wait for Jim. I'm gonna put it. there. Mr. Kenneth Hayes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and new city manager. Welcome to Freeport. I want to talk about the injustice that the council carried out last meeting. When we were appointing a member to the Board of Adjustments, and you appointed a resident of Lake Jackson over Margaret that was been serving on the committee for 6 to 8 months and never missed a meeting, and y'all just kicked her to the curb and bring somebody in from Lake Jackson to be on that board. I don't think y'all thought that through. Now, he had a big resume, but she's a pretty accomplished lady too, if y'all want to check that. But that is a big injustice to me. I'm on that committee, and she served a good job, and has done a good job. So y'all need to think about that next time you're voting on one of these.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Next, we have Mr. Sam Reyna.
Dr. Kelly, congratulations and welcome to the city of Freeport. Mayor and council, good evening and Merry Christmas. My name is Sam Reyna. I reside in 2002 North Avenue G. Bill of Right Day, which is today, December the 15th. We celebrate the fundamental American freedoms enshrined in those first 10 amendments to our Constitution. The First Amendment gives us the freedom of the press, freedom of religion, and the freedom to step up to this podium and complain about all the bad decisions made by this council. Freedom of speech. The First Amendment also gives the people the right to assemble peaceably and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. A petition was signed by citizens that reside in the 200-feet buffer zone next to the urban renewal property of 350 acres. Citizens of the buffer zone do not want the property rezoned to industrial. The citizens do not want chemical plants in their backyards. The discussion and decision shouldn't be about revenue, but about the safety of our children and the safety of our citizens. Keep the chemical plants, pollution on the outskirts of our city and not in our inner city. You got 6 more signatures, members of Abundant Life Ministry. That church is in the buffer zone. I gave you 11 more signatures from members of the First I Manuel Baptist Church. They're also protesting the rezone change. The appointment of Landis Adams to the Board of Adjustment was a huge mistake, an illegal mistake. Appointment. He's not a citizen or a taxpayer of the city of Freeport. You don't have to be a citizen of Freeport to be a board member in the EDC. Or if you own property in a church area and not a citizen of Freeport, you can be on the board. But to be a board member of the Planning and Zoning, Senior Citizens Board, Board of Adjustments, and Charter Review Commission, you must be a citizen of Freeport. And there's not an ordinance in our charter that states otherwise. Landis went on a 6-year crime spree in and out of jail. And he cites a list of licenses and certifications, and the only license he has is a driver's license. And his certifications you can get online 24/7. All it takes is 30 minutes. Landis' false accomplishments and qualifications has gotten him in trouble in the past. The city of Dickinson terminated his employment after 9 months on the job because of his false qualifications. The city of King took 6 months to find out his false qualifications. A professional soccer player, that's what we put down, a professional, okay. Yeah, Landis has to be removed from the Board of Adjustment, and this is the reason why. Trying to get a variance for the property. Agenda item number 4J, Peña's quotation. Potential physical considerations relate to the cost to the city as alleged in the complaints, with additional expenses possibly only if further investigation or legal review is authorized. Nicole and I are not costing the city any money. The investigation is complete with no substance to the alleged complaint. If anyone has caused the city money, it's Jeff Peña. Invoices from Jeff Peña. He has cost us thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Thanks, sir.
Saved us millions. Cleaning up City Hall.
Hit the wrong button 4 times. Next, we have Mr. Thomas Cool.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You'll get used to it. I love it. Okay. My name's Thomas Cole, lifelong resident, Freeport, Texas. I got a recap from my last meeting. It's like y'all got favoritism on these 3 ex-mayors. 2 of them got 4-way stop, 1 of them got speed bumps down that one road towards his house. I'm not gonna name the streets for their privacy. Okay. On South Magnolia and A Street, y'all got a 4-way stop right there. There's some railroad tracks a half a block away with a yield sign. I don't understand why. Okay. There's 4-way stop on 6th and Mesquite. I lived on 5th and Mesquite for years. There's no traffic going through there. I don't understand that. There's 3 4-way stops with dead ends. Avenue Q, Avenue G, Vernon Street. Avenue G in Yellowstone, same thing. 4th Street and Pecan Street is a very busy intersection. There's only 1 day study. I called a man out of Houston. He's putting up cameras on 4th and Pecan one night. He says for the study, but it's just for one night. And he was right. He said the next day at midnight, he's taking them and he got them. Okay. I seen on the City of Freeport website that it was posted how the Public Works Department keeps Freeport functioning safe. It should be posted that city leaders are not worried about keeping Freeport functioning safe for its residents. That's why a bunch of residents, it's a waste of taxpayers' money. Okay, again, we the people of Freeport voted y'all in to lead and make the right decisions for the well-being and safety for the residents here in Freeport. Why should we live in fear and terror about that intersection? We are tax-paying residents who want change and hope y'all leaders care for the residents here. Okay, another recap. 23 crashes last 10 years, that intersection. 95 citations on 4th Street from New Pond to Velasco Boulevard. 2 citations for passing stop signs. 2 testimonies from officers from after the very first meeting I come to, just 2 meetings ago, had testimonies. They know there's a problem there. I mean, what is it gonna take? 1 vehicle and a bicycle crashed that intersection. You know, there's been more accidents than that the residents told me throughout the years. I could only go back 10 years. 8 tow calls. And I've seen 3 crashes where all 6 vehicles had to get towed away. Again, we're hoping and praying y'all make the right decision for the residents of Freeport, Texas. Quit playing with our wellness and our lives. We need something done. And these studies, I don't know where you're gonna get study for 1 day, you know? Come on, y'all know it's been happening. I've been coming over here for 8 months, and I'm gonna keep on coming till something gets done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cool. Next, we have Miss Nicole Morales. Would you like to speak now or wait? We'll wait. 4J. I believe that was all of them. Before we move on, those that spoke and those that were sitting in the audience, did the clock behind the wall, on the wall behind us help?
I can't see it.
All right, then we'll keep trying to use it. Moving on. Agenda item number 2 is the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have 2A, action regarding the minutes from the December 1st, 2025 meeting. 2B, action approving the monthly financial report through November 30th, 2025. And that's it. Council, what is your pleasure?
Mayor, I'm going to make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the corrected minutes that were given to council and the residents.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the corrected minutes that were provided by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
Y'all second.
Seconded by Councilman Rosso. Any discussion needed on this, gentlemen?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions on the financial report.
Yes, sir. Ms. Hurst?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, thank you for putting the financial report together. I was just curious, were there any irregularities on this particular report that was provided for through November 30th?
Not
that
to my
you-
knowledge.
That you found? Okay. So everything's kosher as we move into, I guess, remaining in compliance for any audits?
Yes.
Okay. And were there any unexpected or unbudgeted items that were, that came up?
Not that hasn't come before y'all already.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman. Council, any other questions? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda number 3, proclamations and presentations and updates. Council, we're going to table 3A, the employee recognitions, due to the fact that some of the employees were unable to make it this evening. Next, we have a presentation of the GFOA. It says, okay, it does say distinguished. That's not spelled right. Budget award, fiscal year 2025-2026. Ms. Hurst?
Sorry about the misspelling. I copied from a previous agenda and I did not catch that. Good evening, everyone. The Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada, also known as the GFOA, presented a Distinguished Budget Presentation Award to the City of Freeport for its fiscal year 25 through 26 budget that began October 1st, 2025. I'm proud to announce to council and the public that the City of Freeport received the award again for the most recently published budget book. Staff submitted the budget book to GFOA in October of 2025. In order to qualify for the budget award, the city has to satisfy nationally recognized guidelines for effective budget presentation. A governmental unit must publish a budget document that meets program criteria as a policy document, as a financial plan, as an operations guide, and as a communications device. Budget documents are reviewed by a panel of 3 different reviewers and must be rated proficient in all 4 categories and in the 14 mandatory criteria within those categories to receive the award. As a GFOA volunteer budget reviewer myself, I can state that the grading process of these budgets is very in-depth and done with a critical eye. The city should be proud of this accomplishment as we continue to strive for positive changes within our organization. As a whole, this could not have been accomplished without the outstanding effort that all of the departments put in during the course of this budget cycle. It was a trying time for all of us, but I am proud of the team I work with that pushed through and produced a wonderful budget book. Additionally, I look forward to using the feedback provided by our reviewers for improvement on future budget books.
Ms. Hurst, I would like to say thank you for all the hard work that you put in this year's budget, in the whole process.
Thank you.
Council, do you have any questions or comments for Ms. Hurst?
Ms. Hurst, I'll just state it as well. Congratulations. Your hard work during that previous budget cycle was exemplary, and I truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the clock
You're good.
back on.
You're good. Y'all are good.
Green,
As always, great job.
Thank you.
there we go. Now we can see the time. Upcoming events. I'm going to go ahead and read these. We're going to let Ms. Kelly have a light evening tonight. As a reminder, City Hall will be closed on December 16th. Really not sure why, but it will be.
Okay, the 16th is when we're transitioning some major systems over. We will actually not be able to take any credit card payments for any utility or court or permit payments until we go back online.
Cool.
So, and we won't be, we'll have a period of, we won't be able to receive emails as well, so it will be fairly disruptive to try and run City Hall.
Cool. So for computer reasons. Nice.
Is everybody still showing up to work, though? Yeah, so everybody will be in office?
Yes, just close to the public, all city staff will be there. We'll actually be training on our new software.
Okay, yeah, because I know question was, why the whole day's off, everybody's going out to celebrate?
No.
Rightfully so, the new city manager, but I wasn't sure if it was an all-day affair.
No, actually, probably be my hardest working day this year will be tomorrow.
Okay, I
so.
thought maybe we'd have a parade down Second Avenue, but that's okay. Sorry, Chief.
Thank you, Toby. December 16th, tomorrow, from 4 to 6 p.m., we will have a welcoming for our new city manager. It'll be held at River Place, so we invite everybody to come out, say hi. I think this is going to be a start of a new chapter in the city. December 18th at 5 p.m., the First Responders Neighborhood Parade. January 19th at 11 a.m., we have the 2026 MLK Parade in downtown Freeport. I always look forward to that. January 19th at 12 p.m., we have the MLK Festival at the Freeport Municipal Park. So, a lot of good stuff coming up. So we're going to move on. Agenda item 4A, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2025-3007, appointing a member or members to the Senior Citizens Commission. Ms. Kelly.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So it's my understanding that you have two resignations from the Senior Citizens Commission, members Moore and members Childress. Their terms were to expire May 31st, 2027. So there are two applicants for your consideration, Ms. Jane Hawkins and Ms. Virginia Tippin.
And if either of y'all would like to come up and speak, let us know why you're interested. Tell us a little bit about yourself, or it's not mandatory. It's if you would like.
I'm from here, so I wasn't born in Freeport, but I got here real fast. And I've been here for almost 82 years, so, and I really didn't know a lot of the elderly people. And when I got into the senior commission, the very first one, I began to really enjoy the elderly people. I was younger then. I was even 55, you know. But now that I'm 81, I very much enjoyed them. I look forward to visiting, and they look forward to visiting with us. And they need a place to go. They need a place to play games, sing, dance, just enjoy getting out and visiting with other people rather than sitting at home watching TV. And I like that, and I want to be part of it.
Thank you so much. She wants to be on camera.
Virginia Tippin. I live on Avenue Q. I have lived in Oyster Creek or Freeport for 46 years. Not quite as long as Jane, but I raised my kids here. I've been active. I did Girl Scouts when my kids were little. They're in their 40s now, so they're long gone. So I want to give back to Freeport what I was given, and senior citizens are have always been a good mentoring possibility for me. So I learn a lot from them seniors. So. And I enjoy getting out and being with people in small groups. So it's good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you ladies for volunteering for this. Mr. Rosso, I believe you are the liaison. So I'm going to let you make a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept these two ladies. I know them. They're good people. And they'll definitely be an asset to senior citizens. I make a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to approve both of them
Yes,
with no objection to council.
Actually, I think the procedure is actually one at a
The
time.
procedure is one at a time.
Yeah, we
If-
can't violate that ordinance, so we'd have to do one at a time. That's correct. Good call, Mayor.
So,
Well, we can go with you first. Nothing, I'm just making a motion to accept you as in Ms. Hawkins.
I'll second Ms. Hawkins.
all right, so we have a motion by Councilman Rosso to appoint Ms. Hawkins, seconded by Councilman Pena. Council, is there any discussion needed on this? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
All opposed state nay. That one carries unanimously. Council, is there another motion?
Yes, there's another motion for Ms. Tippin.
And I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Councilman Rosso, seconded by Councilman Matamoros. Any discussion on that one, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Once again, motion carries unanimously. Thanks again, ladies. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. Agenda item 4B, consideration and possible action approving the fire chief to enter into a MOU with Brazoria County Sheriff's Office and Texas DPS. Chief Motley.
Evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
The packet here is for the staff to recommend the MOU with Brazoria County Sheriff's Office and Texas DPS with Freeport Fire and EMS. With the recommendation I authorized from council to sign this agreement. This is part of the Uvalde Act, House Bill 33, just like you saw in the last council meeting for law enforcement. In there, it brings in EMS and fire protection to be a part of this agreement as well, so that's why it's being brought to you. There are some mandates from Texas Department of Health that we'll have to follow in training as well, but they make their requirements that due at the end of this month, so we'll know what those are coming out in the springtime. So that's where we're at.
Thank you, Chief. Council, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pena. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Davis. Any discussion needed on this, gentlemen? Hearing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Chief. Agenda item 4C. Excuse me. Consideration and possible action awarding the InstaValve CDBG grant contract to Android Construction Services LLC. Ms. Hurst.
Yes, sir, Mayor and Council. Staff recommends awarding the contract to Android Construction Services LLC and allowing for the better material additional costs that they gave us as an estimate as well. On October 23rd, the City of Freeport opened the bid responses received for the project titled InstaValve Installation CDBG Grant for RFP number 2025-15 that was advertised. The city received 3 responses. Android was the cheapest, or the lowest, sorry, at $229,000. This grant is for a CDBG grant. I'm not going to say the number, but there's a lot of letters and numbers that we were awarded by Brazoria County for a total amount of $220,000. After speaking with the utility operations manager, the materials that were included in the quote were not the best investment for the city. He worked directly with Android Construction to get some better materials quoted that would be the better investment for the city in terms of longevity of the valves. This would be an additional cost to the city of $20,587. Prior to bringing this to council, the city was required to submit a recommendation letter to Brazoria County HUD for review and receive their approval of the contractor. That award letter has been included in your packets tonight for backup documentation. The county approval was received on December 1st, so our next step is council approval so that we can begin development of the contract. The grant will pay or reimburse $220,000. Awarding the bid to Android Construction Services LLC will be a $9,000 city responsibility. Allowing the contractor to use the better materials will make the city responsibility total $29,587. This amount can be funded utilizing project funding in one of our bond funds that is going to be left over from a cost reduction on another grant. I apologize, gentlemen, I can't read tonight. One of our other grants actually had a cost reduction of a little over $1.4 million, which is pretty unheard of. So, in speaking with Nick, I think the better material would be a good option for this. This project is the one that's going to help isolate the, when there's a water main leak, we can help isolate those leaks better so not so many residents lose water at one time when they're working on it.
Council, is there a motion?
Mayor, I'm going to make a motion to approve Android Construction Services and allowing for the better material with that additional cost of $229,000. That's my motion.
Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve Android Construction Services LLC to do the grant with the better materials. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by, the motion was made by Councilman Matamoros, seconded by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments, gentlemen?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hurst, thanks for putting this together. Thanks for getting those 3 bids out. How long was the notice out for?
30 days.
30 days. And as Android Construction and/or for that matter, Experts Underground Solutions and Power Scoop Utility done any work for the city previously?
I know Android has. The other two, I can't answer that off the top of my head, but I'd be happy to go back and look.
Okay, just curious if they've done their work successfully, or if we've had any problems with any of them. And if you might be able to speak to that, or anybody else might be able to.
Unfortunately, I can't at this time. I can say that the county, as part of this contract, they are required to put up a performance bond. They were also required to submit a bid bond with their bond, and they also have to have liability insurance.
You were one step ahead of me. I was curious about the performance
I figured
bond.
it was coming.
Yeah, the bid bond and the liability. And were we able to verify that those particular bonds are actually sufficient, number one? Number two, I guess, active?
The performance bond won't be written until a contract is ready to go into place. The bid bond was submitted and with their bid, as part of their bid package.
Do we verify whether those bonds are legit?
Yes.
Okay, so we did on this one? On
Yes.
the bid bond? And the liability insurance is also kosher?
Yeah, it's part of the contract package
Okay.
as well.
All right, and we were able to verify that the liability insurance is in fact?
It will be verified when we get to the contract stage.
All right.
It's part of the contract.
All right, no further questions, thank you.
Council, any other questions or comments? Ms. Hurst, I would like to ask, these valves that we're talking about are separate from the ones that the EDC is funding, correct?
Yes, sir. So these will focus on residents. The one that EDC is doing is focusing on businesses. So we're hitting same thing, but both sides of the spectrum.
Good. Be a lot of happy people once this is
Yes.
done.
Oh, I have another question, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
This might be a question for legal, and I'm trying to think how I need to frame this, or if how to ask this without compromising any other negotiation discussions. Let me think here, give me a minute, because you just spurred a thought. I guess the question I have is because we came up against some issues last year, and even this year, as to whether or not any of these particular contracts might infringe on, is probably a better way of putting it, on any other contracts that the city has with any other contractors, in terms of them being required to be solicited to provide these services?
So when it's posted for the public. Anyone's open to bid. I do believe Mr. Pennington specifically had our utilities operation manager reach out and ask if they wanted to bid it. But ultimately, the three responses we got were the ones listed in the packet.
All right, fair enough. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
No further questions, Mayor.
Thank you, Doug. I know. Council, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 4D, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2025-3008 to amend text pool signatories. Ms. Hurst.
Yes, sir. This item and the next couple are all going to be for the same things. We have to get all those bank accounts updated again, so that Dr. Kelly is listed on there, and it will take Mr. Pennington off. For the text pool account, this would add her, and it would still leave myself and Mayor Kane with read-only access to that account. So we would recommend approving the resolution.
Council, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pena. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Rosso. Any discussion needed, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 4E, consideration of possible action approving resolution number 2025-3009 to amend Texas class signatories.
So same thing with this. This is our smaller investment bank account that we need to get Dr. Kelly on and get Mr. Pennington removed from it. So that's what this resolution will do tonight.
Council, what is your pleasure?
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any discussion? I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 4F, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2025-3010 to amend the Texas Gulf Bank signatories.
So same scenario with this, but this is our operating account. So obviously this one's important to have her on so we can get some checks going out to vendors and employees. So I would recommend approving the resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Pena. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second by Councilman Davis. You know, this is the one that I appreciate.
Yeah, you got a good dose of it this summer, having to hand sign every check.
Yeah, quite a few days I had to go up there and sign them checks. And there's a lot of checks that go out of that place.
There's a lot. We're busy.
Any questions on or comments on this, gentlemen? I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Agenda item 4G, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2025-3011 to approve Veolia temporary contract extension. Ms. Kelly.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So the city entered into a contract with Veolia September 14th of 2015 to run the municipal water utility. It was set to expire this year, September 30th. It was extended previously till the end of December 31st, to ensure continued continuity of services and allow me time to dive into this contract and continue the negotiations. We have requested, and Veolia is amenable to extending the contract to the end of February.
Council, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Pena. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any discussion on this, gentlemen?
It's the end of February, is it?
Yes,
Will be
sir.
the new deadline? Wonderful.
Any other questions or comments?
I'm hoping that we can have a workshop so that get council all up to speed on the particulars outside of a council meeting so that we're not here till midnight or so.
We can try
Between
that.
now and then. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments, gentlemen? I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay.
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Agenda item 4H, confirmation of the city manager's appointments to the police officers and firefighters Civil Service Commission.
Mayor, I'd like to table that item. Make a motion to table.
We have a motion to table. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion to table by Councilman Pena. Seconded by Councilman Davis. Discussion, are we or are we not on a time crunch for this?
Yes. Oh,
Can-
sorry.
can
I
you
wasn't
answer
sure what
that
the question
for me?
was for.
Yeah, under statute, the council is required to appoint a commission. It's 3 positions. Appoint those 3 positions for the commission within 60 days of the election. So our deadline would be January 3rd, I believe. And I have to come back. I misstated that a little bit. The statute says that the city manager has the authority to appoint the members to the commission, but it must be voted and approved and confirmed by the city council.
Mayor, I have a couple of comments.
I'm sorry?
I have a couple of comments when you get it, when it's, I'll let you go first.
Go ahead.
Did you have any more questions?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was just letting you know why I second this. This is something new that we're about to go through with the civil service, and the council has not been informed on nothing, how this works, what these people that's going to be appointed to this board, what do they do, how much power do they have, what are they, I mean, we don't know anything about this, and I don't see, we should have had a workshop. I think we should have a workshop and inform the council on what this is. This is something new to the city, to the, yes, and, but this is something new to the city. It's no cities around here to even ask, hey, how do y'all do this, or how do we, I mean, so to be voting on this right now today, and I understand that it's a time crunch, and hey, if we have to come back in 72 hours and do a workshop to get informed, I mean, I don't even know if the police station really understands what they're getting into right now. I mean, so have they had a workshop? I mean, I'm sure they have. I'm sure the chief has been, you know, informing her officers and going over some stuff, but nobody's done that here with us. So it's a whole new ball game for council and the police station now. So it's, I mean, you know, so I just think that, just like I said, if we have to do it in 72 hours, I'll come back. I mean, that's what I was voted, you know, to do, is do a job and serve the city. But it's just not smart for me or us to just be voting on this. This is something serious. This is not a little, just, I mean, it's something serious. This is a whole change, a whole brand new ball game for us. And we need to be informed. And we need to understand what's going on. We've been here, like I say, 60 days. 60 days, nobody has said anything about this. They just voted on it, it passed, and everybody kept quiet and say, well, we're going to bring it to them the 2 weeks before, or 2 or 3 weeks before, and have them vote on it, and we just going to move forward. No, that's enough of doing that. We've done that a couple of times, a lot of times since I've been here. When I first got here, that stuff happened all the time. There was no transparency. You know, it's not wise to me to make a decision on that tonight.
Thank you, Councilman. Chief, would you like to respond?
So I did want to let council know, to be honest, this is new for Chief Motley and myself too. Neither of us have done civil service before. So this is all a learning curve for us as well. We have reached out to, there are attorneys that specialize in civil service, and we have reached out to some of those. We're trying to get some different proposals together to be able to have one of those. Several of those have even said they would do trainings, but everyone has stated the trainings would be next year. So nothing that we could get set up for this year, and I understand the shortness and the holidays where everyone's dealing with. The day we found out we were supposed to do this was the day we posted it. I mean, we acted on it, you know, that quick to be able to try to start getting the applications out, to be able to, oh, we were on a crunch and we were on a timeline. And so we immediately, you know, we had worked with the admin staff, got the flyer created that day, it was posted that day. And then that's why we took applications all the way up until today at 5, trying to push it out on social media. Had an application, or the flyers at City Hall, here at the police department. Again, just trying to push it out, but it's something that Chief Motley and I have both been trying to research on, study on, reached out to a number of different organizations, have asked them for some of their policies, some of their procedures, some of their forms. And so we are diligently working on it, but until we feel, I think, comfortable and confident enough to be able to bring y'all some of that information is why we haven't yet, if I'm just being completely honest. Because I don't want to tell y'all wrong. I know he doesn't want to tell y'all wrong. We want to be able to try to do the right thing and do the best we can. And it was brought up earlier when Dr. Kelly and Mr. Duncan and myself were meeting and kind of mentioning on it that as far as some information is wanted, so that's why I tried to kind of get that general information sheet over, about the Civil Service Commission and lay out for y'all to be able to have an understanding of tonight. And it's not our intention to rush it. Like I said, the day we found out about it was the day we started trying to find out information on it, push it out there, and just, be able to start kind of really grab the ball and get rolling with it. There's an important training that comes up at the end of January that myself and Chief Motley and some of our staff are scheduled to go to. We're hoping to have a lot more information and knowledge from what we've been told. That's a very important training that's going to be able to help guide us along the way with civil service, and actually human resources is attending it as well. But I mean, I know there's a lot of unanswered questions right now, and I hate to say that we don't have all those answers, but that's what we are working diligently to try to get those. Chief Motley, if you'd like to say something about it.
So,
Even in this meeting, we even looked at what it's going to take over the whole year to get it in place by October 1st of next year. So there's some deadlines we've laid out to work on, so it's not just a massive rush into this whole thing, and make sure we do it right on the first step. So that was part of our first meeting we had, along with identifying that we need to publicize for Civil Service Commission as well for those 3 members. So that's where we're at right now for that deadline and the way it was timing with council to meet, to present that to you tonight. So I'm learning. I can read state law, but at the same time, I want to look at what Attorney General opinions have, what other things are in place in other cities. So when I bring a product to you, it's a finished product, and I know it more than I've ever known it anywhere else, or where to pull the information to support what's written on the dotted line. So that's where I'm at. I'm still exploring, even on the weekends. I may Google a topic that hits my brain to look up and find out what's out there on this subject matter about this right here. So I've looked from San Marcos to Forney, Texas, Ennis, Texas, things like that. There's a lot of cities that have been doing this transition recently. Victoria Fire Department just recently did the transition. PD was already there, but they all had the same verbiage. But is that the verbiage that we need in our manual for the civil service to look at and what they follow? And those same books correlate back to state law. So there's a lot of research that I want to look into it before I can give you a final answer on that. So the key thing is the training in January will be a key stepping block for us to learn a lot and to share with those peers that those communities or cities have that requirement for civil service. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
If we were to table this and set a special meeting for Monday, a week from tonight, would that give you sufficient amount of time to get more information? Because I personally don't mind having another meeting with a workshop type setting. However, if we don't feel like we're going to have any more information at that time than we do now, I think it would, I don't.
Yeah, I was about to say, the information that I gave is all the information that I have.
Mayor, if I
yeah,
may.
so, let me finish.
I would even say that some of the stuff we pull on some PowerPoints that are out there that have been taught at some of these seminars, that's what we can brief you on. That's the best we can do right now.
But some of it's outdated.
Dated, yeah.
And we won't get the new stuff until
January.
And that's after our deadline.
We can cover some minor things in what a Civil Service Commission does, what it looks at, and what it can act on. And that's some of the questions you point out in your statement, Councilman Davis.
And the handout that I gave you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
okay. So I appreciate your honesty and you coming up and, giving us what you got. But so that's what I'm saying. I mean, we're put in a bind here. Like, I wish this would have happened before y'all put it on the ballot. I mean, when we step out and.
We didn't put it on the ballot.
So one of your station, or it had to be put, it came from the police station. And I'm not blaming y'all, because you came here and you brought the most transparency here when our previous city manager got fired. So we didn't know what that looked like until you came. So I know you are a transparent person, you know. But and I know why this came about. And so, I mean, I know if you be honest, you know I support the police department. I mean, when you had your situation, I was on the front line for you, you know, in your case. So it's no wonder that I'm trying, the vote has been done. And so I have to go and, you know, go along with whatever comes out of it. And I don't have a problem with that. But I need to know how this is going to work. And I understand that you don't know. You really don't know either. That's why I don't.
I hate saying it, but I just want to be
and
honest.
I know, and you can't do nothing but be honest, and I appreciate that. But I'm saying, I'm like this is what's supposed to been done before it even went to the ballot. And it's not your fault, but I have to let that be known. I mean, people voted on this. Our citizens voted on this and had no information on what this is about to do, what this means. You know, some people think that they just supporting the police department. I mean, so now we're in this bind here, and now we're saying we can't give no information because we don't know it. Once again, not your fault. This is just the facts. This is just the facts. And we can't give no information because we don't know it. And this is really going to be, and then just to vote somebody. So, I mean, we don't know what kind of people we need to be looking for to do this. The availability, the mindset, the I don't know, experience. You know, I seen one on the thing, but you know, they had police experience. I mean, somebody's gonna have to know how to govern the police. Somebody's gonna have to be, you know, not pro-police, but I mean, you know, they're gonna have to be for the citizens, they're gonna have to be for the police department, you know, and for the city, like, they're gonna have to be open-minded. They're gonna have to be, I mean, this is real, this is not no board that we have and people just, I mean, that we're voting on around. This is bigger than that. And I'm sorry, and like I said, it's nothing against you two.
No, sir, no.
It's nothing against you two. It's just, I mean, it's just facts that we don't have and we need. So, I mean, I know you can say Monday, that's not gonna be enough. No, I mean, it's got to be January the 3rd, the day before. I mean, but still, I mean, at least we can try to scrape up something. We can try to scramble up something. We're not gonna scramble up nothing on Monday. You know, it's not to be far than that. Then we got Christmas coming. Well, hey, if I got to come here then, I got to come here then.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely send to council the different PowerPoints that I have obtained that are from the past. Again, it has old information on it that I've received, and so that's why I haven't shared it, just because it does have dated information and I want it to be the most up-to-date. My thought process was sharing that with y'all would possibly start getting into confusion. Chief Motley and I and our staff go to the new training, we get the new information, and then we give you the new information. Well, then sometimes you get the new and the old mixed up, and that was why I have not shared that information previously, because I didn't want to set about any type of, you know, confusion on that.
It's going, and like I said, I do understand.
And on the members of the board, I will say for some cities, they have individuals that have previous police and fire experience. For some cities, they have individuals that have no police and fire experience.
Right, you're gonna need both.
That, yeah, you know, it's a different cities, you know, run different aspects of it. And I think, again, it's gonna be just part of a learning curve for us, you know. I was speaking to, you know, some of the candidates that had asked, how often do we meet? There's not a schedule on it yet. You know, and there's not going to be a rhythm or rhyme to it, if you will. It's not going to be set up like your other boards, that it's going to be the 3rd Thursday of the month or the 4th Friday of the month.
Right.
These things occur just when if there's a disciplinary and an officer or firefighter doesn't appeal and appeals on that disciplinary, then at that time, then that commission's brought forward to listen to that appeal. When we get ready to create the local rules, and the first step of that would be, again, bringing those board members together to discuss the local rules. So it's not set on like a regular timeline and regular meeting, you know, as the other city boards. A commission kind of runs different. So there may be, you know, we may have several meetings starting off, just again, getting the local rules set. Then we may not have another meeting again for 2 years. And I'm just being realistic, because if nobody gets suspended or nobody gets terminated and nobody appeals, then there might not be any other, you know, other reason to have a meeting. So it's really just, there's just, like I said, a whole lot of it right now that, you know, we don't know the rhyme and reason on, just off of information that we've obtained.
Yeah, because it's,
from
I mean,
others.
it's more than just disciplinary action and stuff. You know, the pay and everything goes in the factor that if they get unhappy with the pay, you know, it's just like a union in the plants and stuff. They get unhappy with their pay, they pay. Then they're gonna call the union up. You need to go in there and fight for us.
So that's
we need
with,
to
yeah,
get more
that's
money.
with the
So that's
association, which is different from the commission.
Yeah, so,
Two
I
different
mean, that's what I'm
groups.
saying, so, I mean, just a lot, and I'm not, I mean, but I've spoke with, you know, people in the county and constables and no friends of mine, and, you know, say, this is serious, y'all better pay attention to what's gonna happen here. 'Cause this thing, that's why it's not around here, and especially in small cities. So, y'all better get educated. So, but I thank you. I thank you, because I know you're going to do the research and you're going to give us what you got as soon as you got it. But, I mean, we're on a time crunch now. I mean, it's hardly nothing we can do. We're already here. But thank you for you. Thank you for that. I just wanted to express that and let you know that, you know, I'm not against the police department.
No, we don't think
at
so.
all.
And understand too, gentlemen, that training only happens once a year. So, I mean, when this came about, that they were doing the petition, that training had already happened last year. It was in January last year. So now we had to wait till January of this, you know, or this coming year of 26 to be able to go. So, I mean, it's because I will tell you, Chief Motley and I, we looked highs and lows and in 50 different directions trying to find some type of training about this to be able to educate us. And like I said, unfortunately, they do it once a year, every January, so.
I got a question. You said that
Yes, sir.
no other city in Missouri County is doing this? No.
No, sir, I didn't say that. The city.
did.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, I did.
No, I'm asking.
Oh, no, the city of Alvin is civil service, the city of Pearland is civil service. I think that is all for Brazoria County.
Even in last year's legislation, they had a push for any population above 10,000 to go civil service. It didn't make it, but there's push at the Capitol for civil service.
And you saying the state is pushing us to do that?
No, it didn't pass.
Huh?
It did not pass, but there's been a group that's trying to push civil service through population 10,000 or more. So we may face this question, or other cities our size are going to face that same question coming down in the next year or two if it comes back up again on the legislative floor. So the adjustments we're making and addressing are coming as they're being adopted. So it got adopted here locally because people decided it needed to be here, but there's push in Austin to make it mandated across the state. So
But every city,
that was the push.
With
but it did
the
not happen.
10,000.
It did not happen.
It failed.
It failed.
Currently, Councilman, the larger cities are participating in.
Major cities.
Sorry?
Major cities are.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
and so therefore it's not mandatory.
No.
No.
But the city of Freeport elected to do so.
So it is mandatory for Freeport because we had the election.
Correct.
It's mandatory for us now because it was voted in November. Because it was voted in November and approved, we're on this train now.
Yep.
We just got to make sure we drive it the right way. But Mayor, I still have some additional comments.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
But I want to make sure Councilman Winston Rosso here is firstly.
Right now, we voted to table it, right?
Yes,
Well,
sir.
we never seconded it.
No, we have a motion and a second to table.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Well, let me just say, in the ordinance, in the state law, I'm sorry, it says that the city manager, chief executive, city manager makes the appointments, and that she's got to do that within the 60 days. If she doesn't do that, then it's a misdemeanor crime for her not to do the appointment. So the rule is like, what happens if we don't do it within the 60 days, right? So y'all will know. If Dr. Kelly doesn't make the appointment, say Dr. Kelly makes the choice and makes the appointments, and then it's confirmed by city council. Statute doesn't say city council has to confirm it within 60 days. So it's a little bit vague there. It just says city manager has to do it, and if she doesn't do it within 60 days, then it's a misdemeanor offense, a crime against her. So, and then the deadline's 60 days from the day of the election, which I guess we calculated to January 3rd, something like that.
It was either January 3rd or 4th, I can't recall, do you?
'Cause we
But
got
it was before
31
the
days.
It was before the next council meeting.
Does anybody know for sure what day it is, the 3rd or the 4th?
What day was the
I
election?
think they're both on the weekend anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, they were.
So are you,
I will say the staff report states January 2nd.
interesting, which is Friday?
Which is a
Fair enough.
Friday.
Oh, because I did do that for the last business day.
Fair enough. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Duncan, for that information. Mayor, if I may, so much to unfold here and unwrap. There's no doubt about it that we have to use very, very careful prudence on here. You know, when both of our chiefs say, for both our fire department and our police department, say that they're not very comfortable, well, we're not very comfortable. The residents aren't very comfortable. The police department aren't comfortable with what we're dealing with. There's too many unknowns.
And understand, though, that we're comfortable with individuals.
Sure.
Because we know our citizens, we know who's competent, capable.
I'm not worried
those
about that.
individuals.
Let me, allow me to finish, please. Just to say, I want to make sure I frame this the right way in the context, because I have a way forward. I have an idea for a way forward, and that's what I want to share now that I'm hearing everything else here from everybody else. Yeah, I asked to table this because there's a lot of discomfort, but really there's a lot of unknowns. And there was a lot of unknowns even before we went into the vote, why this was ever even petitioned, why this was, I mean, I know why it was petitioned. I know why there was a petition on this, because of the politics with Lance Petty previously. And we can get into that, I'll do it on my podcast, make a nice, fun, colorful show. But let me just say this, is that it's not fair for, you know, when I saw this here, I saw these two items on the agenda, this one here and also the Veolia contract. I didn't think it was fair to Ms. Kelly to come in first day and negotiate a contract. That's why I asked that we table that and we have a discussion on that, or for that matter, get an extension, in which we did, which I think was the prudent thing to do and the fair thing to do, because Ms. Kelly has a ton of knowledge and expertise and experience negotiating contracts, and that's what we need, on top of what we're providing here as council. So I'm glad that got done. That same prudence and that same need to be afforded to Ms. Kelly, it's not fair to Ms. Kelly, but it's also not fair to the PD. It's also not fair, especially to the residents. It's obviously not fair to you two guys, because you guys are here kind of flying blind a little, and we don't want to put you in that position. But we're here, and we all have to be comfortable with it. And there's too many unknowns, and if anybody can stand up and say they actually know what the hell's going on here about this, I want them to stand up, raise their hand, and tell everybody, because I don't see any hands going up, and if you're watching at home, no hands are going up. Well, there's one person that says that they do, but I beg to differ. Now, I will say this. The way forward here is not to rush this either. Next Monday is not the answer, I don't think. I think we actually have some additional options. Because as I understand it, when I asked legal about this was, what's the deadline and what does it mean? Well, if we miss the deadline, the city then can be, a suit can be brought to the local municipal judges, or excuse me, the district judges, and force the city to vote on it. Or they can actually appoint it themselves. And I would imagine that that would probably be the police association or the civil service. You see the confusion? Is it the police association? Is it the civil service? Is it the police department? There's all these gray lines. We don't know what the authority of the chiefs are now against the civil service. There's a lot of questions and unknowns that council does not know. And I want to make sure that the public is abundantly clear on that. We're flying blind, which is why we need to make sure that we delay this time for all the unfairness it is, especially to the residents. We're elected to take care of the residents and making sure that we provide a very prudent approach to our policing to ensure the safety and security for Freeport. That all said, you know, when I think about this deadline on the 4th, and now Mr. Duncan mentioned here tonight, I didn't have this conversation, was that with him to not know this particular point, is that there's a misdemeanor. And I'm just wondering who's applying that? And so I'm thinking, is it the civil service representatives, the executive team? I guess there's a leadership team in the civil service, is that right? Or the principals?
Yeah.
Pardon?
The Civil Service Commission would be 3 residents.
Oh, so it's just the residents. So is it the residents that would then pursue that lawsuit, would pursue those legal actions? Would it be the Police Officers Association that pursues that? It certainly would not be you two. But so then I'm thinking, well, why don't we do just that one thing that everybody can always be afforded? And just ask. Ask either the association, there is no civil service board, so there's no civil service board to ask. So imagine it's the association, and I'm sure the prudence of our county officials, our county judges, won't rush to judge this or to push this through for a needless misdemeanor case. And so I'm curious if we can't do this rightfully, where we ask for the extension, we get the educator in to train everybody, we do that workshop with those experts.
So you're asking me to confirm and violate the law?
No, I'm
Because
just, no, hear me out. I'll clarify my request.
Okay.
All right, yeah. What I'm asking legal here is my idea. And my idea is this. The way forward is, without us rushing into something that's just going to be needless, all we need to do first and foremost is that we don't have to iron out all the ins and outs of how it's going to operate. All we have to do is, the council has to understand how this whole system's going to work, and then we know what kind of responsibilities and roles and responsibilities that the 3 civil service board members will be required to be applying. And so we don't know that yet. We don't even know, like we were saying, we don't even know the schedule of how often they would meet.
You won't know that then either.
Correct. And so we're learning right now, real time. And so I'm curious if legal thinks that we might have an opportunity to not only table this and go beyond the 4th, but also have some, permissions from whoever might try to enforce this misdemeanor or try to enforce the deadline, so that it would allow the fairness to be enacted for the police department, for the residents of Freeport. And I'm wondering who would be that contact? Who would be that person?
I will be the one to turn it into the state if we do not comply.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
Okay, so you would turn this into the state?
Yes, sir.
Who at the state level would say, hey, you're in violation? And can we get any kind of exception to that? Can we get any relief, an injunction maybe? I'm just trying to understand what legal levers we have at our disposal so that we're not rushed into this.
Okay,
I mean, it's a shame that we're here at November 4th and during the middle of the holidays trying to make this decision, and we just caught it here the last couple of weeks of the year. And we're
Okay,
supposed
so I think I pretty much understand your question. Your question is basically, could we go past the January 4th, January 3rd, whatever, deadline? My answer to that is no. I do not recommend that we go past that deadline, right? Especially because I think the statute is very clear. I don't think there's any permission we could get from anybody saying, oh, don't worry about that, we can go past. I do believe that, from looking at the section of the chapter Chapter 143 that covers Civil Service Commission. From a review of it, hardly anything, the only thing that has been a recent change is one section changed in 2025, and that section dealt with how to do the election and how an election occurs and the result of the election, which we've already passed that. Other than that, there's been no real changes to that whole chapter since, I think, 2015 or something from what I saw, right? So I believe that it would not be that difficult. It would not be impossible for council to have another meeting between now and January 2nd, January 3rd, and have some materials presented to them, either from Chief Motley and Chief Howell and me, together, the three of us. I think that we could get materials together. They could answer a lot of questions and fill out a lot of details for y'all to understand what function the Civil Service Board, these 3 board members, what their functions will be. So then you'll know what you're looking for when you do the appointment. So you'll know what are we appointing these people to do, right? I would also say that it's 3 positions. The positions are for 3 years. They're supposed to be staggered. So the initial positions, you appoint one person 1 year, another person for a 2-year term, the third person for a 3-year term. It's important because it's not like all the other city boards. Other city boards, if the city council is unhappy with them at any time, they can remove them and replace them at any time. That's not the case with the Civil Service Commission. Civil Service Commission council can make removals, but you have to, there's a pretty difficult burden to show due cause, right? They have to commit crimes or do something really serious to be disqualified. So whenever you do make these appointments are, they're not like other boards that if somebody, you don't think they're doing a good job or you disagree with them or whatever, you can't just take somebody off of this board. So it is a 3-year, the first appointment is 1, 2, or 3 years, but going forward, these are going to be 3-year commitments that you really can't, take back.
You can
Sure.
set up guidelines in the local rules for those individuals.
Well,
And so
correct.
we have, I was about to say, so we could set up certain guidelines, which would be, again, part of
Yeah.
the future discussions. And I've got some different local rules from different cities where they have set up and established, if the member doesn't confirm to this, this, and this,
Yeah.
then they are subject to removal.
Well-
The local government code doesn't give a lot of additional.
I appreciate that clarification, Mr. Duncan. That was part 1 of my recommendation. The second part I'll get into. I just want to state that.
But I would not recommend going past the deadline
That's-
as you
yeah.
requested.
Well, that's highly refreshing because when Chief Howell and Chief Motley were talking about this training that's very specialized training and we can only get it once a year, I'm thinking, wait a minute, this is why we pay this guy the big bucks. And so I'm glad that between our 2 chiefs and our city attorney, that we actually can get through the meat and potatoes of what this whole program is about and have a clearer understanding versus having our mouths to a fire hydrant tonight and have all the unfairness and being forced to decide based on very unfiltered information. By unfiltered, I mean, we're going to get a lot of new information here, and we got to have some time to actually process it and think about it. So that's refreshing, and if that's the case, then that's the way to move forward, I would say. So that we do meet the deadline, but the vote before January 3rd or 4th is not to iron out how we're going to operate. The vote is simply to elect those 3
Correct.
members.
That will not be for
Right.
local rules or anything.
And all
like
we're
that.
asking is, let us first at least understand what we're voting about. So
Give us
that
their-
makes sense.
Yeah.
So
What
no
is-
further
what is their
questions.
role?
And I appreciate y'all's honesty as well. That speaks to your integrity. Thank you.
So, well, and that's why we provided these sheets, just to try to give y'all some general guidance and information over, the information that we did have right now, if you will.
Yeah. Thank you both.
And I think the key thing in the civil service, you reading the roles of the board, is about the human resource side of public safety. It's to prevent the intervention or prevention of recruiting and retaining people from outside external sources, okay? But in here, if you look at it, it's about hiring process. We have to announce at certain times. We have to have certain testing. We have to meet the criteria that is accepted by that board. even in discipline, and if there's an appeal, and that's what we brought up, that goes to that board. It doesn't impact the day-to-day operation. That's still at the control locally. So just want to stress there's the difference between operations and human resource of managing people.
And these individuals will basically be the conscience, if you will, of looking at, if let's say an employee wants to appeal a suspension, then that board would turn around and look at the facts of their suspension, of what their disciplinary was based on, and see that, yes, this is, correct and accurate information. I agree with Chief Howell or Chief Motley for suspending this individual. Or they would look at it and say, no, I think Chief Howell or Chief Motley intentionally retaliated against this individual, and this was unnecessary discipline. So again, that's just, they're kind of a, like I said, a conscience almost, if you will, of the checks and balance system.
Yeah. Mayor, if we should decide to in fact table this, the workshop on this would be open to the public so they can also learn, right?
I'm all for a workshop. I'm all for a special meeting as long as we have information that's valuable.
Yeah.
If we feel like we're not going to have any other information at that point than we do tonight, then I don't understand what the benefit of pushing it down the road is.
To me, the benefit is that we have a chance to get all the information, that we might actually be able to study it even before that meeting, and so that at that meeting, the council can actually go through the training process, how you guys want to structure the guidance through it, number one, but then also, council can arrive with educated questions. And that's the goal, is that we're making informed decisions.
I understand. Council, any other questions or comments on this? Yes, sir.
So y'all don't have no concerns or no questions? No?
All we're doing is talking about whether we're going to table or not.
I know. I'm just asking one more time. Y'all don't have no concerns or no questions about it? Nobody else said anything. So, I mean, yeah, well, I know.
So, if there's not any more, I'll call the vote. All those in favor to table, state aye. Aye. All opposed, state nay.
Nay.
Motion to table carries 4-1. Agenda item 4I, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2025-3012, accepting the Charter Review Commission's recommendations for proposed charter amendments. Mr. Duncan.
Thank you, Mayor. So the Charter Commission, City Charter Commission met several times throughout the year. They went through in a diligent manner and reviewed every section of the city charter. Every year, we do this every 2 years, appoint a charter commission to review the city charter. And at the end, you think, okay, we've covered everything that needs to be fixed or changed. And it just, it's surprising that we end up every time and find new things. So the way this works is that the Charter Commission has reviewed, they've had discussions, they have voted and agreed on which items that they want to recommend to the City Council to put on the election for changes, proposed changes. If the City Council, whatever recommendations the City Council accepts and approves, then in January, when we do our ordinance to call the election for the charter amendments, those will be set in that ordinance. And then the election will be called in May, and the citizens get the option to vote on each item one by one to see do they approve or disapprove of the proposed changes to the charter. So ultimately, the Charter Commission reviews and makes recommendations to council. Council approves or disapproves, and then ultimately the citizens get to decide. It's your charter, it's your city, and you get to decide if you want to make any changes and what changes you want to make. In addition, the recommendations by the Charter Commission are advisory, so the City Council can accept or not accept their recommendations. And in addition, the City Council on their own legally is allowed to make proposals to the council of changes they want to make, and then it still requires a majority vote of council to put something on the ballot. So the first proposed change approved by the Charter Commission was to change section 3.01 of the charter and revise the elected terms of council members from 3 years down to 2 years. Now, for most of the history of the city council has had 2-year terms with a maximum of 2 consecutive terms. So you could only serve 4 consecutive years. You'd have to get elected and then re-elected. And a few years back, I don't remember exactly what year it was, around 2021, 22, somewhere around there, the Charter Commission recommended to increase the terms from 2 years to 3 years, and the voters approved. And so now the councilmen that you see sitting before you are serving 3-year terms, not 2-year terms. So the first recommendation of the Charter Commission, they voted and agreed, is to recommend to council to put it on the ballot to change the terms from 3 years back to 2 years. That would not affect any current terms. So those would not implement until all of the 3-year terms being served right now are completed. So that is the, I can just go through one at a time. Do you want me to go one at a time and y'all vote on them, or just go through all of them?
Yeah,
Yes,
one
I
at a
was
time.
going to ask if we needed to vote on them separately.
Yes, you should vote on them separately,
Okay,
correct.
so we will start with proposed change number 1, the selection of terms, revising the charter to change the terms for the mayor and the council members from 3-year terms to 2-year terms.
Mayor, I make a motion on proposal change number 1 to not approve it,
We have a motion to not approve.
or to not include it in the election cycle,
Yeah, not place it on the ballot.
to not place it on the ballot. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Pena to not place this on the ballot. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments on this, gentlemen?
Yeah, well, I have a comment. I mean, you know, I forgot when you said that this was changed, and the charter recommended that this be changed. It was like 2021 or
I
something?
believe 2021, somewhere around there. I don't remember
2021, okay. So this was changed in 2021. It was changed for a reason. I mean, people had some type of vision, some type of explanation on why they wanted to change this. I don't know why they wanted to change it, but if you look around, you know, cities are starting to raise the term limit, because the reason being because it takes a lot of time to get something done. It takes a lot of time to get something done. And, you know, for a 2-year term, I mean, somebody who just got here, and that first year, you know, you're in a learning curve, and you're trying to, you know, get with the other councils, get together, and, you know, get something going on. But, you know, it takes 2 to 3 years before you even, you know, get a project going and then you have someone else come in, and you know, and if nothing's going on, well, if the people in your ward don't approve of what you're doing, the next time election come up, vote him out. I mean, if you don't approve of what I'm doing, man, I'm for what's right. So, and you know, God gonna judge me for what's right, and I can't go along with wrongdoing. So, if you have the right to vote. So, I mean, but when you go to a 2-year, now we're gonna drop it down to 2 years. I mean, I was at the TML conference, and you know, I was talking to the council, and like I said, that they were they were highly recommended up there. And they said, you know, everybody's not going to do it, and everybody's not going to be able to do it, but they have a no-limit term. Now, that's real risky. I'm not trying to promote no-limit term here, you know, but they said what the no-limit term done for them is because they are a group of people that have an open mind. They agree to disagree. And that's what this council and Freeport has to be able to do. Be able to come and agree to disagree. And you gotta have an open mind on everything that goes up, whether you like it or not. But what they do is they have a vision. They have a plan. They set a plan. And it's a 3 to 5 year plan. It ain't nothing with 2 years in it. The plan is for 3 to 5 years. And then they work together to accomplish that goal. And that's what we lack here. A vision, a plan, and a goal. And you have to set that, and you have to be working towards that. We're not working towards nothing. You know, now we got a new city manager with a lot of experience with development and other things that Freeport needs. Well, I'm excited, and I think that now we're going to have a vision. Now we're going to have a plan. But it's going to be up to the council to be able to be open-minded and be able to use his strengths, my strengths, his weaknesses. You know, we have to, you know, work together. You know, where he's weak, I'm strong. And you can't build that in 2 years, you know? So I don't see 2-year terms is not helping us. Then you have to go back out and you have to do the election thing. Again, you gotta go out, you gotta, you know, go around to the town and put signs up every 2 years. I mean, you know, that's a lot of work. Well, you need to be in here doing work. And I understand this council, they gotta be held accountable. You know, we gotta get busy. But I think we got the right leader now, and I think, you know, God sent us somebody because he got a plan for Freeport. And you can either get on board or you can hit the road. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman. Yes, sir.
I was at that same TML conference, and the people that I talked to, I agree with Councilman Davis. They wanted unlimited terms or 4-year terms or 5-year terms. Nobody was talking about a 2-year term. So I agree with you, brother. You hit it right on the head. And my wife,
With the microphone.
my wife had to vote. Well, then she wants 2-year terms.
Or maybe one.
1-year term.
Council, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a couple of comments.
Yes, sir.
I just want to echo the same sentiment here that, you know, you can't get enough done in 2 years. Half the time you're campaigning just to get reelected. There's no sense in that. And I'll say that, yeah, I was at the same TML conference. And I also want to let everybody know that Councilman Davis and Councilman Rosso, I mean, I'll tip my hat off to them. These two guys keep representing the city at every monthly city council association meeting. And they're representing the city very, very well, asking questions. When they were at that TML conference, they're out there asking questions, learning from everybody else around us. And that's so powerful and impactful, and that's why 2 years make no sense. I mean, it was a foregone conclusion. So the silliness of all that is of a 2 years makes no sense. You know, we can decide if we want to alter it the other way, make it longer, but as far as I'm concerned, yeah, it doesn't make any sense, and that's why I made the motion to not include it on the ballot. No further comments, Mayor.
Council, any other questions or comments? Mr. Matamoros, you've been kind of quiet over there tonight.
I agree with what our commission's trying to do, Charter Review Commission. All of our other surrounding cities are 2-year terms, maximum 3 consecutive. And so I understand what they're trying to do. I'm indifferent to either way. So.
Thanks, sir. You know, personally, I can see both sides of the aisle. You know, if you have elections on 2-year cycles, you're having an election every year. Okay, and that means potentially you have a rotating door. You have new council, you have 2 new council people. This year, you could have 2 new ones the following year. You could have 2 new ones the following year. And in a case like that, nothing ever gets done. Okay. On the other hand, if you have 3 years terms and you have someone who is disruptive, then you have to put up with it for 3 years. Okay.
Or corrupt.
Or corrupt. Yep. So personally, you know, I'm on the fence either way, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm just but one vote in the city of Freeport should have the ability to come out and voice their opinion at the polls. So it is my opinion that we let the citizens of Freeport tell us how long we're going to be up here, not us tell us how long we're going to be up here. So, gentlemen, we have a motion to deny this proposed change on the floor. I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye.
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 All opposed state nay. Nay. Motion carries 3-2.
And I'll say something. I mean, citizens don't take it wrong. You know, the last comment was maybe misleading. But it's not that, you know, we didn't want the citizens to vote on it. The citizens didn't bring that up here to say they want to change it. The citizens voted to make it this way. So if the citizens would have came and said, we want to change it back, this came from a 5-person charter board, or 6-person charter board. So it didn't come from the voters. If the voters would have said that, hey, let's go to the polls with it. That's the way I look at it. So don't let them misword it and act like, you know, we don't want to give the citizens. No, we're going to clear that up today. If the citizens wanted to do that, that's where we'll go. But they didn't come up here and say that. So thank you.
Well, then I'm gonna be the opposite. We didn't give the citizens the chance to come up here and vote. We took it away from them.
It's not.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to move on. Proposed change number 2.
All right, proposed change number 2 is to change section 3.05. Now that section is titled Mayor Pro Tem, and the first paragraph has all about Mayor Pro Tem. The second paragraph has information about filling vacancies on council, and it has a requirement of a special election within 40 days. And then another place in our city charter, it talks about the same thing and says there's 120 days for the special election. Well, the state law governs those provisions, right? So the second paragraph in 3.05, it's extra because it's already addressed in a different part of the charter, and also it's incorrect under the state law. So the Charter Commission looked at that, recommended that we put on the ballot and remove the second paragraph that, as I said, does not comply with state law, and then allow the provision that's already in a different section that is correct, keep that section. And so this proposal to put on the ballot is to remove the inaccurate and extra paragraph under 3.05 that's supposed to deal with Mayor Pro Tem.
So this is more house cleaning than anything, housekeeping.
That's correct.
All right, council, on the proposed change number 2, the mayor pro tem revised the charter to eliminate conflicting language regarding filling council vacancies and aligning with state law.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to put this on the ballot.
Motion to approve to go on the ballot by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second by Councilman Davis. Any discussion needed on this, gentlemen?
Yeah, a quick question here. What exactly is that verbiage that we are removing so that we are compliant with the state?
It's the entire, that entire second paragraph. So within that paragraph, it does accurately recite some of the state law. However, the special election within 40 days does not comply with state law. The state law says that if we set that it's the on the uniform election date, but under certain circumstances, depending on how much time is remaining on the remaining term, that the city should have if they put it in their charter, they can have a special election within 120 days. But 120 days is the minimum under the state law.
And what is your recommendation?
My recommendation is to put it on the ballot. I think that paragraph should be eliminated because it doesn't comply with state law.
Did that paragraph create any problems previously for the city of Freeport?
Not that I'm aware of, but I don't know if we had any special elections within 40 days.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments, gentlemen?
Yeah. I just want to, point out, when we do stuff like this and they go on the ballot, I'm going to be calling for a workshop. Anytime something goes on the ballot from now on, because of what just happened with the police department ballot, to make sure that the citizens they understand what we're voting on. And you're not taking it from this side of town and that side of town and this side of town, this person and that person. So that's going to be on the ballot, but I'm going to call a workshop so people can watch, and before you go on to the ballot, anything that goes on the ballot needs to be in a workshop. The citizens, that's the only way you can be transparent with the citizens. And I think that should be, we might see if we can make a rule that be a workshop. I mean, the citizens need to be, it's not going to be no secret, I'm gonna tell this side of people, and we're gonna try to get votes here. No, everybody needs to have the opportunity to come here and get educated on what they voting on. I mean, because there's a lot of stuff you go in there vote on, and you be any, many, money, mo. We don't want that here in the city of Freeport. Let's start the cleanup right now today. It starts today.
Thank you, Councilman. Council, any other comments or questions?
I'm curious, does this particular change contemplate the issue that we had earlier this year about the shall and will of appointing Mayor Pro Tem?
That portion of the charter is not being changed.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you so much. No further questions.
All right, Council, I'll call the vote. All those in favor to put this on the ballot, state aye. Aye. All opposed, state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Proposition number 3.
Proposed change number 3 is change section 3.12 regarding official bonds for city employees. Currently, the city charter requires certain positions, the city manager and the finance director, to be bonded in case there's any financial loss that will cover those losses. In addition, the charter language allows provides the city council can decide if any other position they think needs to be bonded will be bonded. The proposed change by the charter, this charter provision, however, does not have any minimum dollar figure. the Charter Commission felt that it is important to set a minimum dollar figure for bonding for those two positions. And so they proposed to set a minimum of $200,000 bond for the city manager and city secretary. Now that bond would then be, that's paid for by the city. So the city pays for the bond. So the city manager and the finance director are not required to go pay for their own bond. It's a bond that's funded by the city, purchased by the city. I forgot the dollar figure, but it's a fairly insignificant dollar figure to get a $200,000 bond. But this charter provision that the commission is requesting will at least set a floor of $200,000 bonding for each of those positions.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to add this to the ballot with a couple of revisions.
We have a motion to add this to the ballot with a revision. Is there a second?
I think he needs to say what the revisions are before you can get a second.
Okay, those revisions are to clearly itemize the minimum bond amount for the city manager at $1 million, the CFO at $1 million, and the city secretary at $200,000, and any other officers or employees designated by the council at minimum $200,000. And my explanation for that is that we didn't have proper bonding when it came to Kelty and the Covarrubias fiasco, and the same thing with Petty. And so I like this particular proposed change, but I want to make sure that we have the appropriate dollar amounts, because we're dealing with million-dollar contracts, and we're going to be dealing with multi-million-dollar contracts when it comes to Veolia. And I just want to make sure the city's protected. No, that's my motion, Mayor.
So the motion is to approve it, but instead of $200,000 for the city manager and the city secretary, $1 million for the city manager, and who else?
The CFO.
$1 million for the finance director,
And everybody else at
$1 million for the city manager, and $200,000 for the city secretary. That is the motion.
And other officers that are designated.
I'm sorry?
And other employees or officers that are designated, as written here on the proposal.
Council, is there a second? Motion fails for the lack of a second.
Do we have a bond right now? I thought we had a bond minimum for the city manager because of the Covarrubia situation or fiasco of $1 million after Kelty. Did we not make a resolution for that?
I do not believe we did. I know when Mr. Petty came in, he elected to get one sizably larger than what
Kelty had a
Mr. Kelty
$10,000
had.
one. Yeah.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the ballot as presented, the language as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the ballot as presented by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
We need a minimum.
A second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any discussion needed, gentlemen?
Do we have any bonding in place right now?
Say it again.
Is there bonding in place right now for these particular officials that are outlined on proposal number 3?
Yes, there is. I'm not sure of the dollar figure.
Well, that would be helpful. Do we have
Yeah.
that, Ms.?
And also, Ms. Hurst might
Hurst.
be able to answer a question. I think for $200,000, it was something like a couple of $100. It's not a huge amount of premium.
Yeah.
Clarissa's currently bonded for the 20,000, I believe is how the charter's written now. I believe mine is 250,000 and city manager is $1 million, which we're working on already getting Dr. Kelly bonded.
So that's what's crazy, right? We already have this in place. This is what I was actually just making the motion for. Now this over here allows us to go even lower. And so instead of the $1 million for the city manager, or even the 250 for the CFO, we're now saying, it could be lower. But the reason we have those numbers now is because of the situations we've had in the past. And we need to make sure we have those securities, because anything can happen. It may not be malicious, it might be unintentional, and we need to make sure we have that coverage. And so I would ask that council reconsider so that we actually comply with what we actually have now. Why do we want to go backwards? That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You didn't call that out at first, did you? Them numbers, the million that she just called out?
No, that's first we're hearing of it tonight. That's first we're hearing of it tonight.
Well, I want to pull my second.
Well, I need to point out that y'all, I believe the procedure is if a motion comes up and is voted down and it fails, y'all can't call it again for 3 months.
The motion could be revised.
Correct, so.
We could just say, we could say all the million across the board.
Correct.
And how much is that compared to the 250, Ms. Hurst? Is she still here? I think it was $200 for $250,000. Money well spent.
So, there's a motion on the table. It's up to Councilman Matamoros if he wants to amend his motion or not. But you can't go back and reconsider the motion y'all just voted down. There would have
No.
to be some difference.
It'll be a new motion.
If for some reason it didn't fail or whatever.
Fair enough.
The bond for $250,000 cost about $800. When we bonded Mr. Pennington, he's the most recently bonded, and that bond was about $1,800 for $1 million.
Great ROI.
All right, so Councilman Davis withdrew his second. So I'll ask again, is there a second? Motion fails for lack of a second.
Mayor, I'll make a motion then that we require all of our officers to have the $1 million bond. And that officially is the city manager, the CFO, and the city secretary. Because during the Covarrubias fiasco, we had the CFO, Kathy Uzell, and Tim Kelty involved in that. That's my motion. So it'll end up costing us an additional $1,000 for the year, so that we're protected at $1 million apiece. Right, Mayor? That's the math.
Council, we have a motion on the floor to put the minimum bond amount at $1 million each for the city manager, city secretary, and the CFO. Is there a second? Motion fails for lack of a second. Council, is there another motion?
Drop in the bucket, it's $100 a month. I'll make a motion that we table it for the next meeting.
Is this on a time crunch?
All right, so here's the deal. Let's say there's no motion passes, right? As I mentioned before, the timing of things that it's always been done is the Charter Commission makes the recommendations, presents it to the council in December for action. The actual implementation does not occur until the January ordinance is passed to call the election. At that time, the specifics are set in that ordinance. So theoretically, any charter change could be considered at that time. However, there's still the requirement that if there was a vote and it was denied, that exact vote cannot be called again due to our requirement of the 3-month delay on actions that were denied.
So there was no vote on any of these yet?
No.
So these can all be
No, the votes
reintroduced?
count. The votes today count.
A motion was made, but no vote was made. The motions never got seconded.
We haven't had a vote. All of them have failed
So
for
we
lack
can
of a
reintroduce
second.
those again, or revise them.
Okay, that's correct.
Okay, so
I
then.
thought yours was voted no.
No, no,
Sorry.
so I'm just asking to table it so we can nail this down offline or get more
So if you
information from
table-
staff.
If you vote no, then it stay the same like it was already, right?
Mhm.
It's already got bonds on them,
Yeah.
and they would stay the same. Is that what, I mean, that's my question.
If y'all take no action today or take no action before January on this issue, either vote yea or nay, either way, then the charter will remain the same that has no minimum. City council at any time could have a vote and say, hey, I think the city manager should have a bond of X, or the city finance director should have a bond of X. So even this charter, proposed charter amendment, all it does is has a floor. But in the future, it's not a requirement of 200,000, it's not less than 200,000. So if this doesn't pass in any way, then the council always has the ability to require a bond of whatever dollar figure they want. It's just required that they have a bond, but there's no charter requirement of that number.
Mr. Duncan, all we would have to do is introduce a new ordinance or new resolution, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, well, so we don't lose anything. The status quo right now, everybody's properly insured, even though we don't make this charter change. It's tabled. We're good, we're still safe. We're still secure.
Correct.
Okay, that's good to know.
So we have a motion on the floor to table the proposed change number 3. Is there a second?
We don't lose anything. No, I'm saying we don't lose anything.
Motion fails on a lack
haven't drafted it.
of a second.
Okay.
Okay, so the next,
So should we just move on then?
I'm sorry?
So should we just move on? Because the resolution or the charter change language as it's written, as presented, failed. These modifications failed. There's still a lot of inter-council discussion here. We just might have moved on. Yeah, well, that's what I did. I was trying to table it.
there's no action.
Oh, well, that's a different one. We can actually say a motion to not accept it. Yeah, like the previous one. I'll let you do that.
You good with no action?
I'll make a motion to not allow it on the ballot.
Now we have a motion to not allow it on the ballot. Is there a second?
Second.
Hey, we're getting somewhere. So we have a motion to not put the proposed change number 3 on the ballot by Councilman Pena, seconded by Councilman Davis. We're going to skip the discussion, because I think we've had enough for this item. So I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
All opposed state nay.
Nay.
Nay. Motion to not put it on the ballot carries 3-2.
All right, thank you, Mayor. The next proposed change is actually not a proposed change, but it's the Charter Review wanted to put it on the report that they considered by reducing the terms from 3 years to 2 years, that then maybe possibly increasing the term limits from 2 terms to 3 terms. I don't know that that's, considering that the first proposed change
Didn't pass.
did not pass, so that we're still on 3-year terms. I think that's probably moot, but I just wanted to, they wanted to reflect in the report that that's something that they considered, and they did not want to increase the term limits to 3 years.
So do you
3 terms.
do you feel like we need to vote on this, or
No.
just for the record?
No vote required, just to point out to council that that was something that was reviewed and considered.
All right. Proposed change number 5.
Proposed change number 5 was a change to section 8.02 regarding the development of property. In the city charter, it refers to the expenditure of funds for economic development of privately owned land, for subdivisions for economic development, could only occur if there's a legally valid 380 agreement. Mr. Pennington pointed out, and I concur, that in the old days, 380 agreements were the only development tools that you had. However, now there's many more, such as public improvement districts, MUDs, PIDs, PUDs. The legislature has created several other tools that cities can use for economic development. And so the Charter Commission recommends to the council that that language be put on the balance to change and say that city funds can be spent only with a legally valid development agreement. And so that would consider all possible development agreements that are allowed by state law. So they felt the charter, as it reads now, is overly restrictive, and there's actually been consideration of doing a PID for some development, and with this charter requirement, we would not be able to do that.
So council, is there a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve and put it on the ballot.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
No. Sounds like it's anti-development.
I will second it. You have a question?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Scoop back. Miss Kelly, Dr. Kelly.
Yes, sir.
You're a developer.
Yes.
In your experience. Are you looking at this, what, you have any advice?
My understanding of this, I would fully support it. I am not interested in spending city funds without council approval. And that's how I read this.
Okay, thank you.
As I see it, Councilman, the way the charter is currently written, and legal can correct me if I'm wrong, we can only do development if we do it with a 380. So if someone wants to do a PID, we can't do it. Okay, this unties our hands, frees it to where we can use any development tool legally that's out there.
And it still must be in writing and approved by council in every case.
Any other questions or comments?
So that said, do we want to withdraw it and revise our motion, or?
No.
So we want to approve this so that we're able to do PIDs?
Correct.
Oh, I thought you said the opposite.
No,
By
we're
approving this-
taking off the 380 agreement restriction.
Wonderful.
So I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Proposed change number 6.
All right, last proposed change by the Charter Commission is to change section 9.24 regarding taxes, when due and payable. And this is a really kind of a minor change, but currently the charter says when you pay city taxes, you got to pay the tax collector, and you have to pay it at the office in Angleton. Well, there's a lot of places you can pay your taxes now. You can pay it at other county locations. They'll let you pay it online. They'll let you, there's various options now. Maybe in the old days, you had to get in your car and drive to Angleton and write a check and hand it to them at the Angleton office, but that's not the case anymore. And so while it's a minor change, the Charter Review Committee, they go through everything with a fine-tooth comb, and they said that doesn't make sense, that you can only pay your taxes at the office in Angleton, Texas in person. So this proposed change to put on ballot would allow people to pay their taxes to the county assessor in whatever payment location and methods that the tax collector assessor allows.
Council?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pena. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Matamoros. Any questions or comments, gentlemen?
Yeah, I have one quick question. You know, as it relates to these various changes, I'm just kind of curious, do we really need this stuff to be on the ballot overall? Because couldn't we have just made a resolution like on the PID, or is it because it was dictated by the charter? Okay. That's my question.
Council cannot change the charter.
Got it. We cannot violate the charter. Yeah,
Not supposed to.
yeah.
Charter is the constitution of the city.
Fair enough. Thank you. No further questions.
Any other questions or comments? I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Duncan said that was the last proposed change, but I have one more on my sheet.
Yeah, I see it's number 7.
Oh, I missed it.
While he's looking,
I was getting overly optimistic of us.
You gotta hit your microphone.
All right. Okay. Proposed change number 7, I'm sorry about that. Change section 11.01, publicity of records. The current charter language says that the city will provide all records to any citizen or representative of the press, all records that would, unless it would defeat the lawful intent or purpose of what was intended by creating those records. That actually violates state and federal law because there are certain state and federal law restrictions on what records that we can give. Whenever someone makes a open record request, we review those records and make sure that we don't violate any privacy laws or requirements from the state. So the proposed change would be that the city would present for inspection or the copies to any citizen or representative of the press, any city records, except and unless it's restricted by state or federal law.
Council?
Make a motion to approve and put it on the ballot.
Councilman Matamoros makes a motion to approve to put it on the ballot. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Councilman Rosso. Any questions or comments on this one, gentlemen? Once again, sounds like a housekeeping. I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Now, when we started this agenda item, legal said if council had anything that they wanted to add, that they could at this point. So council, is there anything other than what we've discussed that you are considering?
Mayor, I'd actually like to consider adding a change if you're, you have to be a resident of Freeport, Texas, for all boards except for the Main Street Board and the EDC.
That's it.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I'll make that motion, pending the legal drafting the necessary documentation.
Right, y'all can consider and pass a motion, and then we will prepare the specific language for the proposed election ordinance in January.
Can the recommendation for that particular charter issue be recommended by a councilman, as was just done here, and then added to the next council meeting, since we still have time? So that we can contemplate what exactly the ordinance is going to state.
Well, it's a charter, and so y'all can make proposals to charter at any time up until y'all do the election ordinance. So if you know, If y'all agree with the proposed change by Councilman Matamoros, y'all can pass that, and then I can prepare the language, and then the question will be, the language prepared, does it match what his motion was? If y'all want to have that prepared and see it in writing before you vote, then you could do that anytime before the ordinance, the election ordinance is passed.
So in that particular case, if we did that, that would mean individuals that were not part of the city, so that have expertise, like Landis on Adams on P and Z would
I'm
not be
not,
allowed.
I'm not getting into that, and that's a discussion if there's a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we need as many ideas as we can get.
So once again, Councilman, your motion was which boards?
All city boards except for the EDC and the Main Street Board.
One clarification, that I think the plan is that they're going to separate Main Street and Historical.
Okay, but then Main Street and Historical.
I just want to make sure and see,
Okay.
did you intend to include both or not?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Must be a resident.
No second. There's not a second yet.
Freeport.
It's a long wait. Mine were rushed.
Sorry for that pause. I had to write all this stuff down. So we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Matamoros that we require all city boards except for the EDC, the Main Street and Historical Commission must be residents of Freeport. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Rosso. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't like that. Because if we're gonna do it, I mean, you're gonna let somebody be on the EDC board and the Main Street board. I mean, two of the biggest boards that's got to do with, a lot of stuff in Freeport. And then it's fine when somebody you wrote that's from another city on these boards. It's okay then, but then I guess when something happens that, they don't like that person, well, we want to change the rule. So if we got people on there and that was already like that, I don't see why we come and try and change the rule now. We find, qualified people and people that's willing to be on these boards. So, and it's not like you got 2 or 3 of them. It's only one on each board. So, but that's just my take. You already got them on. I mean, you gonna let them be on this board, this and that board, and then you're gonna take it off the other one. I don't understand why you do that.
Thank you, Councilman.
We're not taking anybody off, are we?
No, sir.
Yeah, well, what they're doing is.
One conversation at a time, please.
I'm answering this question. He asked the question, so I'm the one that said it. So let me answer.
Go ahead, answer.
Yeah. And it's not like they taking nobody off the board, but you taking away the position, like if you wanted to put somebody else on there from Lake Jackson or whatever, now you can't do it. So it's been like that, so why you changing it now? And you gonna let them be on these other 2 boards, but they can't be on these boards.
Well, that's what George recommended.
Who?
That's what George, this was
Yeah,
George.
that don't mean you gotta
This is
agree with
George's recommendation, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, if it had been your recommendation, I can say yea or nay.
I'm
just one vote.
You can do the same thing there too. You asked the question, so I asked you. I was answering why I made that statement.
Well,
I'm the one made the statement.
Okay, well, in the future, it's like we choose. It's like we choose. Now, what we did in the past is in the past. We can't change the past. That's what I was asking, if we can change the past, and we can't change the past.
I need to reply to your question, okay? Usually when you make changes, like changes to terms for council, for example, right? You cannot make them retroactive. You know, if somebody's already elected to 3 years, you can't go back and say, oh, now your 3-year term is only 2 years, right?
Right.
With respect to the boards, because it seems like this is been a discussed issue even at the meeting, right? So currently, you have a person that's a non-resident that's appointed to Board of Adjustment, right? So if this goes to the election and the voters agree, that person would then not be qualified and would be removed. So that, you know, so that would undo, right? That would go backwards. So I don't want you to be confused and think, oh, well, this is only apply to future appointments, because the charter, like I said, it's like the constitution of the city, right? It's like the supreme rule. And so that person, if you're not a resident, then you'll be disqualified from serving on the board because the charter disagrees with that. So you vote either way you want to. I just want to make sure that you'd ask the question, does that undo? It would undo an appointment.
It will or it won't?
It will.
It will undo the appointment?
Correct, yes.
So the people we just voted on last meeting
Correct.
are out?
If the voters vote, right? I mean, this all the, I mean,
You're talking about
y'all put this on the charter election, then the voters vote, and if the voters approve and say you've got to be a resident of the city to be on the board, then that's the new rule. And so if you were appointed previous to that, but now you're not qualified, you're removed. So.
It's not a slick game. I'm just putting it in front of the voters. Let them have the opportunity to state if that's a rule that they want. That's all I'm doing. I'm not removing someone from a board right now. I'm just giving the voters a chance. Because we have previously, if you were a resident, that was what we were going with, that, hey, you can only be on these boards. There was a misunderstanding that Mr. Duncan brought to our attention at that meeting. I'm just trying to get it clarified. That way we follow what we've been doing previously. That's it. I'm just putting it in front of the voters, asking it to be put in front of the voters. That's it.
And I just want to clarify, I would not comment because this is really kind of political considerations, and I avoid the political considerations. The only reason I want to reply because Councilman Rosso asked that specific question, and he said unsure about does this apply to people that are currently appointed to boards, right? So I just want to make sure he understands he's free to vote either way, right? I have no recommendation one way or the other, but I just want to make sure everybody's clear on what the change to charter, what that means.
Council, any other questions or comments on this?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is the heater on in here? Because it's cold. Is anybody else cold? Freezing. Our senior
You
citizens.
could have wore your nice Christmas. You could have wore your nice Christmas sweater.
I'm wearing a
You'd
nice,
be comfy.
thick thermal jacket, and I'm worried about our seniors who are also wearing their Christmas gear and winter gear and still cold. So do we have a thermostat that works in here or not? The clock's the thermostat? I'm just saying it's cold. We can hang some meat in here. All right, so this particular issue here is really kind of inconsistent because, number one, now we just find out that in fact it does penalize and undo the decisions that the council just made, which, by the way, the public has elected us to make that decision. And there's two other points I want to make. Number one, we're talking about limiting these boards, and we've had the hardest problem this year, and even in past years, getting them filled. So why would we want to limit the pool of good people? I mean, how many people that are not on this, from the city of Freeport are on the EDC? I think there's a number of them. At least one, maybe two. I think it's three. George, what's the number of non-residents on the EDC board? You're the liaison. No, Jerry, you are.
Yeah, so I'm shaking
how
my
many?
head no.
Who's on there that's not from the city?
I can't think of any.
No? You sure?
David, do you know of any on the EDC that are not residents of Freeport?
I don't believe so.
I didn't think so either.
Okay. Now, what about on Main Street? Yeah. How many are on there that are not from the city? 3 or 4. And the point is that, you know, then you got the historical board. All I'm saying is that we've had a hard time filling these boards. Why do we want to limit the selection pool? The argument, even more so against limiting the selection pool to just the residents of Freeport, is that part of the problem we also had is that we were recycling the same people. Well, if we have other residents and citizens that are nearby that are concerned and willing to make that commitment to our city, why do we want to turn them away versus being at the risk of like, hey, we have the same people? I mean, this is why we hired and went out of our way to hire somebody that has the experience and fresh ideas. I like people with experience and fresh ideas that may not be here in Freeport. And one of the things that we were talking about before was, yeah, let's make sure that we don't get a city manager that's from Freeport so that we can avoid all the political pitfalls. And I see that as a political pitfall by limiting it to just Freeport residents. So, yeah, I don't see the wisdom in that particular resolution to make it a part of the charter. We can vote that at every turn.
Any other questions, council, or comments? So I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
All opposed state nay.
No.
Nay.
Motion carries 3-2. Anything else, council?
Yeah, we can recommend other charter additions at the next meeting, right? Thank you.
Moving on. Agenda item 4J. Before we get into it, Miss Margaret Bachman. I get to play with my beeper again.
You were getting pretty good at it. Hope you didn't forget how to do it.
Don't let that rumor get out. Hey.
Good evening, I'm Margaret Bachman. I reside at 96 Dolphin Lane, and I'm here to speak about the possibility of removing Nicole Morales from the Board of Adjustments. I feel that Nicole is an upstanding ethical leader on the Board of Adjustments. I have been on the Board of Adjustments as an alternate since June of 2024. I have attended all scheduled meetings and have been a voting member at those meetings 10 out of 11 times. During that time, no discussions of how to vote have been made prior to those meetings. Only property discussions were among the individuals were, have you been by to look at it? Do you know what it used to look like? Have you seen any work being done? There was never any discussion about how we should vote or anything like that. There was never any discussions outside of those meetings, outside of any formal meetings on how to vote or anything about the properties. And that is I believe that she needs to stay on the committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Morales, did you want to speak or forever hold your peace?
As most of y'all know, I've been here in the city for pretty much most of my life. And I'm here because I love Freeport. I could easily
leave, sell my house, and get the heck out of Dodge. And I have thought about that. But you know what? I'm not a quitter. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what he just made the comment. It's very difficult to get people to come and be on the boards and everything, but yet I put myself out there, and here I am again. You know, and I have nothing to hide. And I appreciate what Margaret said. You know, I don't want anything for myself. I just want what's good for the city. And I know where Peña's coming from. It has to do with family matters. It has nothing to do with the city. I've done nothing. My son-in-law reached out to him, and man, he grabbed it. He keeps on harassing me. They keep harassing me. And I tell you what, if y'all do what he wants to do, shame on y'all. I am here, and I was on council, and I continue coming to council meetings. I don't have anything to hide. If you want to know something, ask me. I have not broken any laws. You know, and I had told myself I wasn't going to say anything, but you know what? I mean, enough is enough, guys. You know, Jesus, family, I'm embarrassed. That has to do with my family. It has nothing to do with the city. But anyway, that's my take on it, so do what y'all want to do.
Thank you, Ms. Morales. Agenda item 4J, discuss and possible action regarding multiple ethics complaints filed against City Charter Review Board member and Chair Sam Reyna and Board of Adjustments Board member and Chair Nicole Morales. Councilman Pena.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to let everybody know that there's no shame in what's doing what's right for the city. When you got the receipts, you shouldn't be ashamed to present them. And I've always presented the receipts. And they're out there. And the receipts for this particular discussion and possible action with the ethics complaints against Nicole Morales, the chair of Board of Adjustments, and Sam Reyna, the chair of the Charter Review Board. That was documented. And you may recall also that previously, well, let me say two things. Number one, council actually can remove any board member at their will, except for this new police commission. So I want to make that clear. But there was all these complaints, and we didn't have a procedure when residents had complaints, ethical complaints against board members. And so now we have that procedure in place, which is great, so that nobody can unfairly be removed. But still, every board member serves at the will of the council. And every board member is held to a higher standard, just the same as we are. And I can tell you that when I put this on the agenda, I was working with the various receipts of the complaints, of the violations that were proposed to council, that brought forward to council, that stated that there was abuse of authority by Ms. Morales and Mr. Reyna. And so what happened is I put it on the agenda, and what ended up happening was we got a legal consultation, a review of that particular complaint. And so the review of that particular complaint was that it did not violate the ethics ordinance. So that's the good news about that complaint. But I will say, that said, I'm not going to take any action against Ms. Morales based on that particular complaint. But I've been made aware that there are others, and that will be put forward, and the council will address those as such. I just ask that these board members take an honest inventory of their actions and ask, is this really the best for the city for them to stay on? So that's what I'll say about Ms. Morales. Now, Mr. Rayner is a different situation. He's on the Board of Adjustments, and the complaint that was filed against him by the residents about his abuse of authority was also reviewed by legal and said that there was no violation of the ethics ordinance. However, being on these boards is a privilege, like I stated, and it's very concerning to me when board members will come up and make illegal, slanderous remarks against councilmen. And for that reason, I want to exercise the right and the privilege and the elected authority by council to make a motion to remove Sam Reyna as the chair of the Charter Review Board. And that is my motion, Mayor.
Legal?
What's the question?
Well, when legal sent out a review of the agenda item, as well as the complaints, and he included his responses to the complaints, he says, as noted in each document, you are not required to accept my recommendations at the city council meeting. At the city council meeting, we'll have the following options. 1, after review of the ethics complaint and the recommendation of the city attorney, I make a motion that we decline to have a public hearing and dismiss the complaints against whoever. Or, number 2, after review of the ethics complaint and recommendation of the city attorney, I make a motion that we set this matter for a public hearing to consider the facts and the evidence of the complaints against whomever. So that is what I'm asking legal, because those were the motions that were one or the other that was supposed to be made. And the motion that you made was altogether different. So
okay, I see what you're saying.
So I'm getting clarification.
Well,
It's pretty simple.
fair enough.
Okay, I'll do clarification. So the short answer is, the issue that you brought up and the motion that you made is not on the agenda. So the city council legally, under open meetings, could not take any action under the motion that you have made. So, I mean, there's some background. The ethics complaints were filed against Mr. Reyna and Ms. Morales. Whenever I first started, I think the last week of July, I was Chief Howell provided these to me, asked me to review them. We have an ethics ordinance that has specific requirements and rules, and I reviewed the allegations, and I reviewed the allegations assuming that if all the allegations made were true, would it still violate the ethics ordinance? Because the things you can and can't do in the ethics ordinance are pretty specific, right? And when I also looked at the ethics ordinance, it says if a councilman violates the ethics ordinance, he can be censured, but it had no procedure or no punishment or anything, guidelines with regard to board members. Board members are covered by the ordinance, but there's no procedures at all. So it's been quite a delay to take action on this complaint, but what we did is we came to council and I proposed some procedures, and the council voted and approved those procedures, right? So then we went through the procedure, and as I said, I went through the complaints, compared that to our ethics ordinance that say, okay, if I assume that everything alleged is true, is it still a violation of the ordinance? And the way the procedure works is I make a recommendation. The city council is not bound by my recommendation, but then the question is, if there is merit to the allegations, then the city council would need to have an open public hearing. It would be like a mini trial in front of the public where both sides could come, they can testify under oath, they can offer evidence. That would be, of course, that takes quite a bit of time in a council meeting, and so that's the reason for me to review and see if it even legally violates any of the ordinance, right? So my conclusion was that none of the allegations violate the requirements of the ethics ordinance. And so I wrote a report with explanation, submitted it to council for both individuals. I think there are 2 allegations for each individual. And my recommendation is that the allegations do not violate the ethics ordinance, and that I'm requesting then that the council to vote, make a motion and vote that a public hearing is not necessary. So that would be in my report, I provided 2 options for the city council: either make a motion to ignore my recommendation and have a public hearing, or to follow my recommendation and decide that they will not have a public hearing of the matters.
And so when I made my motion, or basically my statement to just forego it, it's the same thing. No formal motion needs to be made.
Well, the only problem with your motion is it's not on the agenda.
It's not what?
It's not on the agenda. The only thing on the agenda is the ethics, if you're on the agenda, is the ethics complaints.
Yeah, well, correct.
So the only thing I can vote on are the ethics complaints that are before the council.
All right, so then we can't make that motion, and we can move on, because I was stating we won't take any action.
Correct, right. Yeah, y'all need to affirmatively vote.
So we can
Yes
just,
have a hearing or no have hearing.
we can't just move forward?
We can go this way. I will make a motion that we decline to have a public hearing and dismiss the complaints against Mr. Reyna and Ms. Morales.
I'll second it. Because that's what I was saying.
Seconded by Councilman Pena. Any other questions or comments on this, gentlemen?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody understands. If you're confused, wait, Pena made this motion or put this on the agenda? Yeah, I did. With the information that I had at hand at the time, yes. And then when we got the legal response, obviously, I want to make sure that we're acting fair. So there is no shame, there is no agenda, that it is in fact fair. And so that's why I said, hey, okay, no hearing. Let's not waste city resources on this. So that's where we're at. That's why I seconded that. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, I'll call the vote. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Quick question. After we take this vote, and this is for legal, sorry, Mr. Duncan. After we take this vote, can these ethics complaints, can they be released to Ms. Morales? Because she has zero clue as to what has been brought against her.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm good.
And actually, of course, they would need to know what they are so they could defend them, but I thought that they already had copies of them. Because this was given to me after they'd already been filed for a couple of months whenever it came up to me. So if y'all didn't know, I apologize, but like I said, I found that it's not violation. It doesn't meet the violation of the ethics ordinance, so.
Once we start deliberation, no, ma'am, you can't. So at this point, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 4K, public workshop to discuss and take possible action regarding the maintenance and development of the beach plan for Freeport's Bryan Beach. Councilman Pena.
Thank you, Mayor. I put this on the agenda simply because I want to make sure that everybody knows that we're forging ahead. We have, especially coming out of that TML conference, there is, and especially with Ms. Kelly here starting today, and we just have what we think is a pretty good team to start making really high-impact changes to Freeport, maximizing their assets. And I will go ahead and state that to say, I don't want to get into a longer evening here. I wanted to do this at the beginning of the meeting, so I'll table this for another meeting. But I just want to let everybody know that we're thinking about this stuff, and I'm really excited that during the interview process, Mrs. Kelly also was very excited about our waterfronts and how we can improve those. So I invite everybody to start exchanging ideas and being ready for the next meeting where we'll have this on the agenda here in the month of January.
So we have a motion to table this?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
By Councilman Pena. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any discussion needed on tabling? I'll call the vote. All those in favor to table state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion to table carries. Now I gotta go back to the front of my book. Brings us to work session. Starting off with Councilman Pena, Ward A.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank everybody that came out here tonight and is still here this evening. I want to make sure that council takes an inventory of who's here, who's putting in that time. It's much appreciated. And that said, I also want to thank everybody that came forward here this evening as well. And for everybody here and at home, I just want to also wish everybody a Merry Christmas in the possible chance that we may not have a meeting before Christmas. And so that's the first thing. The second thing I want to make sure that I state here is making sure that I give, and everybody gives here, a warm welcome to Ms. Kelly to her first city council meeting here this evening. Thank you. Welcome. Very excited, as been echoed here in the last few weeks since we decided to move forward with Ms. Kelly. So I can't say enough. There's going to be a lot of changes. And that brings me to my next point here. And there's going to be a lot of changes and improvements in projects and plans, and we're going to try to get all these plans that have been, all these studies that have been tabled for one reason or another, let's get moving in the right direction. I think we have a lot of good ideas coming out of that TML conference here that is reinvigorating. I know the councilman from Ward B and Ward D, and so Councilman Davis and Councilman Rosso, and I'm really excited for the work that they're going to be doing and what they have already been doing. But I just want to let you know that if you think that these changes happened by accident, they were because the previous administration was held accountable. And if you think that we're done cleaning house, let me let you know. Let me let the public know, let me let the city staff know, let me let the rest of council know, the work is never done. We must be persistent in holding City Hall accountable. That means today, yesterday, tomorrow, and going forward. Because when the cat's away, the mice will play, and we know how that turns out. So we're not done cleaning house, and there will be additional investigations, and we're going to be talking about some of that in executive session. So I just want to let everybody know that, there's no time here to be patting ourselves on the back. We still got a lot of work ahead of us, and we got to make sure that part of that responsibility is that we hold City Hall accountable. And my next item here I want to talk about, and I have 7 items. This is my 4th one here. Thousands of dollars have been spent by the public information requests that I've made. But I want to assure you that we've saved millions and we've held accountable those that wasted millions. That's how we got Covarrubias investigation going, those public information requests. But also, when I make those requests, here over the last several years, Olson & Olson was at the helm, dragging their feet, running up the bill. That's one of the reasons why they're not here. But it's my public information request that I know Mr. Rayner was going to try to point to that also brought up the Brastex investigation, which was also proven true by other attorneys, our own in-house attorney, and the law firms that we actually hired third party. Those same investigations that I call for, that Mr. Rayner wants to say, I wasted taxpayer money. That's the same money, investigation, due diligence that I did, asking the city staff to look into for the waste and abuse of authority by Lance Petty when he was investigating police officers to pressure them to leave or get in line with him and his agenda, and we know what his agenda was. And it was the same public information requests and the same demands that I had that Mr. Reyna is going to try to cry foul about, that helped to actually undo the suspension of our police chief, Chief Howell. So I make no apologies for any of that. I'm not ashamed of any of that. And I don't think anybody in the city would agree with Mr. Reyna that that was wasted money. And for that matter, that public information request, when we were actually investigating or trying to undo the suspension for our chief, led to the information of those recordings of Lance Petty plotting the kidnap and murder of myself. So, yeah, those investigations actually save lives. Not only jobs, they save lives. So if anybody wants to say that we've been wasting money, I'll let the residents decide. And I don't know anybody that would agree with that at all. You know, on a lighter note, I'll just say here, the Christmas events that were here in downtown, presented by Main Street, I want to thank Main Street for putting on that event. It was well received, well attended, and I want to make sure that we do it bigger and better next year and invite more residents and more out-of-town residents to come visit downtown. I can tell you right now, there have been so many folks that have been coming in the evening hours, taking pictures with the tree. I've seen families bring their children out on bikes just so they could ride their bikes in the park just amongst all that Christmas lighting. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys got that feedback, and hopefully we can build on that again. And I'm also hoping that we can get a nativity scene back on the decor for downtown Christmas. The other thing I'll say is kind of touching back on what I said about the change. Let me just state here. I want to remind everybody that the direction of this city starts at the top. And at the top, that's the city council. But truthfully, the way this works is it's the residents at the top. They elect the city council. We then manage the city manager, and the rest of the staff answers to the city manager. I think the city attorney is also to the side, and there's some special provisions about the police chief. But I want to make sure that everybody understands that I haven't forgotten that the true boss here is our residents, first and foremost. So I really appreciate it, and I want to invite everybody, and I want to encourage everybody to keep coming out, keep coming forward and asking for that street light, that stop sign on 4th Street and Pecan, for that lighting on Broad, for that walking way over here by the middle school. And whatever other concerns you might see. If you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something. If you see employees, city staff doing stuff, let us know. I'm really thankful for all of the city staff that have done that in the past and still are. And we're going to touch on that a little here in the executive session. The last one here, I'll do at the next meeting, but that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Davis, Ward B.
All right, let's go. Let's get up out of here. Good job, everybody. We thank y'all for coming out. We appreciate everything that, the support, the comments, the complaints, all of it. We need to hear all of it. We need to address all of it. I want to thank the council today for, being able to agree and disagree and behave in a good manner today. I mean, we wasn't no outbursts. We got the new Dr. Kelly in charge today. She's sitting in the seat with us. We want to congratulate her, welcome her you know. I think that should have been done at the beginning, but I guess she get her little slot down here at F, you know, but I hope, we just want to make sure that everybody know, man, I'm excited with the experience that she has and, you know, the vision that she has. I know there's going to be a vision put forth in front of the people, in front of the council, for the department heads and everybody in the city. Change is coming. I mean, you know, we got a lot of developments, projects, not a lot, but we got, you know, Councilman Pena just, you know, tell you about the beach, and, you know, we got the water, but I got a project, development project that I'm gonna be presenting here, and it's a project that's already been presented years ago, but, you know, we finna make it, we finna start moving dirt. We're gonna start moving dirt on it. You know, and it's a project, you know, it's for the youth, but it's also gonna help the economy. It's gonna bring people to the city. It's gonna help our businesses. It's gonna, you know, if we put it, you know, wherever we go with it, you know, if we put it down by downtown, it's gonna help downtown grow. You know, you're not gonna have a choice because there's gonna be so many people, you know, coming in that area. They're gonna need places to stay. They're gonna need food. They're gonna need, you know, they're gonna need stores. They're gonna need equipment. They're gonna need, you know, they're gonna need all kinds of stuff because so many people are gonna be coming, you know, to this event, and it's just gonna trickle down from downtown. It's gonna rise downtown, and then you go to the waterfront right next to it, over there on the waterfront. They already got the blueprint, but now it's gonna rise the waterfront. Because when the people come, you know, we're gonna have something for them to do, you know. So somebody gotta, you know, you gotta start stepping out on faith, and you gotta stop getting all these blueprints and listening to negative, you know, having a negative mindset. You know, you have to push play, and you know, some people gotta fall and bump their head every now and then. We haven't even fell and bumped our head, you know. But you know, it's gonna trickle down. It's gonna be a trickle down effect. You know, when the waterfront come, now you have, you know, things for people to do. Now you have people from other cities coming down. Now guess what? Now you got spots where you have houses. Now houses are gonna start coming up. Oh, I'm just speaking it in existence, y'all. You know, you got to have a positive thinking. You gotta have a vision. So that's a vision. You got to see it. You got to see it, and I've seen it. And I know Dr. Kelly rode around Freeport. I know she's seen a similar vision to that. You know, you can see it coming down the water all the way down here. Everybody's fishing. Everybody's, you know, is just doing things. We got houses coming. We got restaurants coming. I mean and then they're able to stay because people are always here. But, you know, that's a start. You got to have a vision. Now we're going to set a goal. Now we're going to put together a plan. And then we're going to start executing the plan. But with everybody. So it's not just me that come up with it. Everybody's going to get a piece of this vision. And we're going to use everybody's strengths in the vision. And then that's how it's going to all come together. It's going to have to be all of us. It's not just me. So I'm not even going to get the credit. First of all, you know, the Lord gets all the credit, you know. So when it's all said and done, don't even say Councilman Davis, you know, had anything to do with it, because I'm going to tell you who had everything to do with it. But each one of the councilmen and then Dr. Kelly, you know, at the helm, with the lawyer, Chris Duncan, we all got to come together and use a piece. Everybody got to put their 2 cents in the vision. You know, we don't have to agree with the whole thing, but we have to set the vision and set the goal and set the plan and start executing. That's what's going to happen. I see it. As I see it, it starts, like I said, it starts at the top. Well, I think we got a good leader coming in, and I think that we're going to all see the vision, and we're going to all put your differences aside and see, do you want it to be about you, or do you want it to be about Freeport? And that's what it's gonna boil down to. Is it about you, or is it about Freeport? Because I've been here in Freeport for 50 years. I've seen it, you know, when I was little, and they call that flourishing. They got it, you know, it had all the stuff. I was little, and I seen it all run up out of here. But the good Lord say the same, I'm gonna see it all run back in. Because I'm telling you, when we put these plans into place, they're gonna start running in here. They're gonna start running in here. You're gonna have to say, oh, whoa, we ain't got no room. We ain't got enough room. Let's get to work, y'all. Thank you.
Councilman Matamoros, Ward C.
Thank you, Mayor. So, kind of starting mine off on a little bit of a somber note. We had a really good person who worked with the city partnership, and Joe Williams, who passed away this past week. He was a superintendent with the Velasco Drainage District. He was a gentleman who, if ever a storm was coming through or floodwaters were coming up, he was our person at the Velasco Drainage District who would tell us and keep us abreast of everything that was going on. He'd keep us abreast of, to the minute, when the flood wall was going down, when the pumps would be starting up. He passed away. He's a great friend of mine. Spent many a time with him. So keep his wife Ethel and his two sons Brandon and Jeremy and all his grandkids in your prayers. He's in a better place, but the city lost a pretty good asset when he passed away. Also his friends and family at the Velasco Drainage District. Changing to topics that affect some of these residents that I'm representing. I'll be sending a list, Dr. Kelly, of lights that are out in my ward. I've sent them to Centerpoint, but haven't had any response. So I'll send a list of those lights to you so we can have them look at those and see when we can get those working correctly. Last thing is AmeriWaste is putting tags on residents who have their own small trash containers and saying that they can't use them anymore. That's not a part of the contract. They can use them. So if we can look into that and see, and I can send you a picture of a resident where she sent that to me, where they tagged it and said she can no longer use her little container. So those are two things that are pressing right now within my ward. Again, welcome. Glad to have you here, and hopefully we can start moving forward. Thank you, Dr. Kelly.
Councilman Rosso, Ward D.
Good evening, everyone. I count it a privilege and a blessing to sit up here and talk to you guys, even you out there in the cyber world. Appreciate your attendance. I've looked at how many people actually watch this program. I've been told by several people that we're really entertaining, and so hopefully all that'll change. No more fussing and fighting and disagreeing. I want to say that the Gulf Coast Transit District, I'm on the board. I get to go to the meetings, and I just want to emphasize that we have, they just purchased a brand-new van for veterans. And veterans, you have access to that van to go wherever you need to go. And I just wanted to let you guys know about it. Thanking, I don't know how long you're gonna get this, Dr. Kelly, but we appreciate you coming and coming to Freeport and being a part of our neighborhood. And I just hope all the people accept you like they should and give you a chance to straighten out some of the things that need to be straightened out. And there are things that need to be straightened out. I also want to remind everyone about the MLK festivities that's about to start at the end of this month. They're going to have recycling, paper, plastic, cans. They're going to have a really, really nice parade down 2nd Street, which is also MLK Drive. And a festival at the park. Hopefully the weather will cooperate with us and we'll have a good old time. People come from everywhere to Freeport to be a part of that. We have entertainment, we have food trucks, and it starts, the parade starts at 11 downtown, and it comes and it ends at the park. Lots of good things happen. So look forward to that. We have all kinds of things going on. It's on the website. Look at the website, and you can see all the festivities that's going to happen. Church service, choir. It's going to be really. It's always a big thing. I want to thank Pam Dancy for giving us a treat, giving us, like a Christmas present. I thought that was so special of her to do that. Pam did that.
Thank you, Pam.
She's probably watching us on TV. The Senior Citizen Day was a success, a real success. We had good food. We had participation like you wouldn't believe. The place was packed. There was hardly a place to park in the parking lot. I think we mentioned, did we mention we need some more people on the board?
Yes.
Yeah, we need some more people on the board. So if you know anybody that's 55 and over, we'd like for you to put your application in to be on that board. Sister Sandria's funeral is going to be Saturday at 4 o'clock at Dixon Funeral Home in Angleton. Sandria was on a couple of boards. She was on a couple of boards, and we're going to really miss her. So y'all pray for her, especially her two sons. And like I said, 4 o'clock Saturday. I know of at least three, maybe 4 funerals this Saturday. So if you get a chance, 4 o'clock is late for a funeral. So if you can make it by there, I can tell you right now, her family would really appreciate just hugging some necks and, showing her family how much you appreciated her while she was here, while she was on earth. That's all I got here.
Thank you, Councilman. First off, I would like to say congratulations to the city as well as the Main Street for the first annual Christmas tree lighting that we had this last weekend. It was truly amazing. I do apologize for those that went out and had to listen to the mayor speak. Maybe we'll do something different next year. But no, the amount of people that were there, the vendors that were there, the tree itself is just downright beautiful. For those of you that were unable to make it, I will remind you, as Councilman Pena said, the tree's still up. It's still lit. The park still looks beautiful. Get your family, get your friends together, and go down and experience it. Take some pictures, because it really is first class. I would like to thank everybody that showed up today, those that are watching at home, and those that are waiting until tomorrow to watch it. You know, it really does mean a lot to us. At the last meeting, I had also made a comment about AmeriWaste. The fact that on that Monday, 6 o'clock, whenever I was coming up, or 5:30, whenever I was coming up here, my trash still had not been picked up. Well, I must say, whenever I got home from the meeting, my trash cans were empty. Okay, and I'm 100% certain it wasn't because I made the comment. It was because the Thursday before was Thanksgiving, so whenever they came out toward B, there was a lot of trash. So they had to make extra trips to empty the trucks before they could get back. But if y'all are watching, you did good on that one. Before I pass the mic, I too would like to welcome Miss Kelly and say I'm really looking forward to the next chapter here in Freeport.
Thank
you. Hoping you do us like we're expecting.
Okay.
With that, I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you, Mayor. First of all, I've been told that there is a Main Street picture competition, so if you want to learn more about that, you can go to social media and find out how to post your pictures for the tree lighting and Main Street competition. I just want to say that my husband and I, Mike Kelly, we are incredibly excited to be here. I don't know how many poker players there are in town, but we have pushed all in Freeport. We closed on our first house here today. I got the deed emailed to me, so we're super excited about that. We're officially Freeportians. I think I made that up. I don't know. Even though I started today, I just want everybody to know that we drove 12 hours straight to get to that tree lighting ceremony. We did not want to miss it. I just felt like that was the spark that was going to set this town on a different path, and I'm here for it. There's tremendous potential, and I can't wait to get to it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. With that, it is 9:14. We are going to close this regular session of the City Council and go into executive session. Executive session regarding A, Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with an attorney to discuss and take possible action regarding water billing issues. And executive session pursuant to Government Code 551.074, personnel matters. Mr. Duncan.
Okay, so item B says personnel matter involving Public Works employee Von Price. Is Mr. Price here? Okay. Mr. Price, I just need to make sure and give an explanation in public that this item is scheduled to be discussed about your appointment in executive session. You have the option to participate in executive session, or if you require that you want that all the discussion be held in open session, you can choose that as well. So if you could let step forward and let the council know if you would prefer for council to have their discussions in executive session or in open session. Or if you have any questions. All right, very good. Thank you, sir. I just want to make sure we got that publicly on the record, that you were informed of your options and
Yes.
that you told us your option publicly. All right,
Yes.
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So we are now,
Hold on, Mayor, do we need to make a motion to invite Ms. Fisher in only on an as-needed basis for this?
is Ms. Fisher still here?
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is. Okay, then yes, if,
Okay. So I'm going to make a motion to invite Ms. Fisher into executive session only on an as-needed basis. Is that legal, Mr. Duncan? Or do I need to be more specific?
You can make the motion now, or
we have had issues in the past with not inviting.
right. Yeah, I guess it's better to go ahead and make that motion now, that, just as you made it. That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
We have a motion to invite Ms. Fisher in if necessary or needed. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Davis. I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed state nay. All right, so now it is 9:17 and we are officially going into executive session.